but listen to, did you hear the press conference of Seleke Kromah, the IG? He did say that this is a highly political case, did he not? So you don't take the partisan's word for it, you take the IG's word for it.
We elect on 85 irresponsible men, what happened to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Please place your left hand on the Bible being held by your wife, and you will kindly raise your right hand, sir, and repeat after me. All standing, please. I, Joseph Newman Boyka Sr.,
No secret now that your friend and former boss will be a candidate in 2029. With all of that you experience, all of that you know, and everything that you see unfolding in the country now, will you support him? Will you be part of the process? Will you give him the support? Do you think he can be a better president?
So why you want to bring political money in it or not?
Oh, but you political you're political man, before you go out, very active.
I plead the fifth again.
Okay. When 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? And the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
So, this riot situation when it comes to country, because many times you notice that.
Charles Taylor is the problem. He will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
On the Boyka's administration, we want to give the government of Liberia an ultimatum of 72 hours to provide a living ballot of the chairman of the Student Unification Party, or else there will be a catastrophic pneumonia in the Republic of Liberia. So arrest the chairman of the Student Unification Party, only because the government feel intimidated about the Vanguard Party advocacies.
The government got capital rule, small B rule, all kinds of. I think the reason Joseph Baga will not do much because the old man, the Papa is suffering. The Papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know where I'm going. I love this. Capital row, small row, big row, little row. Welcome to the end of the week edition of the closing argument. We are living to the true meaning of the word closing argument. This is Friday. It's the end of the week and we are closing the argument. This is where the best and the brightest come on Fridays to discuss something that is most cerebral, something we can think about, things that make you think. And today we got some of the best and brightest minds in the Republic of Liberia that dwell in the diaspora. We are dedicating today to our educators, men and women that have done very, very exceptionally well in the field of education. They will be here the next hour to discuss education. There are some big words we're going to be using, but they will break it down to me. It's big, but for them it's nothing. It's called pedagogy. The act of teaching. How do they do it? How have they done it? How our Liberian young men and women came into this country and became prides of our country. They came, they lived their lives the right way. They are making money the old-fashioned way. They are earning it. No shortcuts to success in this country. Very few people have done it. Very few people have succeeded. Even the young Liberian men and women that are into athletics, that are playing the NBA, in the NFL, what you see on draft days are the end product. What you don't see are the years of playing academy soccer, academy basketball, AAU basketball, Pop Warner football, high school football, college football, and then you don't see any of those. All you see is these young men and women dressing very nicely on the day that they are drafted, and you hear that they're making 5 million, 10 million, and you think it is easy. Nothing could be further from the truth. Just as teachers, educators, when they appear in these classes, they don't just show up. They have put in the time, they have graduated, they have earned the degrees. And then they have gone through the certification processes. They have earned the right to be called teachers, lecturers, professors, directors. So we salute those people today. We are going to be paying tribute to our educator, the best and brightest in the land. My name is Jerome Gayman, your boy from Bassa that is now swimming in oil. Share this show. Let's talk. Let's learn together. Some of these people are mathematicians, some are philosophers. Sometimes I wonder where were they when I was in school. When I started my undergraduate studies at Rutgers University in New Jersey, they told me I had to do some remedial courses because my math was bad before they admit me. No problem. I was looking at a bigger picture. You could laugh at me. Did everything they told me to do, go to remedial classes, fine. My math is bad, good. So you got men and women who are coming out here to teach us, to lecture us. If you have children, if you have grandchildren, they are here, they have done the work. I know in Liberia or in our parlance, we say the preacher or the messenger is not respected in his own home. That's why if you become a preacher, they don't send you to your own county or your own country or your own town. They send you somewhere else. So when you see a Liberian educator at the bar in a park at an event, you should buy them a drink. You should buy them a meal. You should cherish your educator. They are the hardest working people and the least paid and the most disrespected. Today, we're going to pay tribute to our educators. They are Liberians. They were born and raised in Liberia. They put in the work. They came and they sweated. Did everything they could, and they are satisfied, and they carry their title proudly, even though they are underpaid and disrespected. Today, we are going to be talking to educators. They are special. Let me welcome Myean. Myean, Toby, welcome to the show.
Thank you all so much, Mr. Gayman. It's a pleasure to be back on. After a long distance from Mosswell to Nima County, and then not just living in Sanikole, and then I had a trip to Yekepa to see the Nima Eco Lodge, where I was successful time there. If you reach at Nima Eco Lodge, like Chief Tomalin and I was Henky here, Chief Tomalin told me that here is a natural air. Yeah, you find natural resources. You find everything here natural. So he was like telling me. So I said, yeah, that's the kind of thing Nima bring out to the public, because some people leave from other countries come to Liberia. It was my first time to hear or to see a butterfly where is in Nima County, only Nima County introduced that butterfly where people leave from other countries coming to Liberia and then going to Nima County to study about that butterfly. So there are a lot of experience there. So it's been a wonderful time. Just hold on to the resting. Went on a fee again, came back, and then I'm back on the show.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. It's an honor to have you. I know you want to profile Nima County. And are you from Nima by any chance?
Not by any chance, but by full blood.
Oh, full blood.
I'm from Nima.
You see, yesterday we were talking about Grand Bassa County struck gold. We got all now today. You come in with butterfly from Nima. I understand. Thank you very much. But yes, Nima is a beautiful place. Today I was watching this boy, Kotu, when he was showing the country diary. And
that's Emmanuel Kotu.
Yeah, today he was in Sanikole and he profiled some of the places there, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So yes, we love Nima. When the day I get a chance to come to Liberia, I want to go to Nima County.
Nima is the best place. Like Chief Tomalin said when he comes, he's going to stay in Nima until he return back to the States.
Oh yeah?
So, yes, he only went there for one day, but because of the era, he said, no, I have to sleep there for another day again.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So you gotta take me to Nima when I come.
Yeah. The place is good anyway, Mr. Gayman. The people of Nima, in terms of the road condition, in terms of food, whatever you think, the people of Nima, they have out of 100%, they can afford about 80 to 90%. Yes.
Okay. Nima County, you have someone here trying to sell Nima County to us, and there's nothing wrong with that. We love all of our counties. Share this show. Let everybody else know that today we are paying tribute to Liberian educators in the diaspora. But our special guest on Tuesday is going to be Dr. Henry Maniba.
Yeah, so before we finish the show, I was sending the flyer so we can just do a little promotion for our guests.
Good.
Yes, I'm working on it anyway.
That I think his name is Dr. Clarence Moneybar.
Yes.
Dr. Clarence Moneybar is going to be our guest on Tuesday. Liberia Best and Brightest, we're bringing them on. Sometimes these are topics you don't want to talk about because it doesn't have sleaze attached to it. No my cousin, no gossiping, not too much politics. So you may not like those topics. Like today, we're going to be talking about education. You think everybody's going to tune in. The whole world should tune in to listen to Liberian experts talking about education. And we are not going to give them bricks either. We're going to ask the tough questions. God's willing, we're going to open the line for you to call in. It was not meant to intimidate you. Call, let's talk about education. If you are a parent, if you are a grandparent, this is your show. Some of these folks have dealt with special needs children, special education children. How do we deal with them? Or how do they deal with them? You can learn. As parent, you can learn a lot from these folks. As a student, you can learn whether you're in college or you're in grade school. You can learn from our educators. But let's look at some of the news that are trending in the Republic. A large share of Liberians, especially in the rural areas, still live in multi-dimensional poverty, they say. According to recent data, roughly 55.6% of Liberia population suffer serious deprivation in health, education, and living standards. Even though Liberia is rich in natural resources, we are talking data. We're not making these stories up. Growing divergence between rural and urban livelihoods. While urban poverty has slightly improved, crucial poverty remains. In the rural area, it is dire. And many rural families struggle just to survive. What are the consequences if we don't deal with these issues properly? Many rural dwellers, including farmers, feel forced to migrate to the cities, often ending up in precarious informal work or informal settlement. In the 70s and 80s, we had a theory called rural push and urban draw. According to this article, it is even more pronounced now because of the lack of opportunities beyond Monrovia and the cities. The urban area now have become a magnet to draw people away from the farm. Farmers can no longer survive. So they will choose to be a beggar in Monrovia, in Buchanan, in Saniquale, in Ganta. They make a farm and you cannot take your groceries to the market. There's no roads. There's no running water. There's no bridges. So your only choice is to abandon where you were born, where you have lived all your life, to become a city dweller, even if it means you are sleeping on the streets. This is how desperate it has become. It said dwellers, including farmers, feel forced to migrate to cities, often ending up in precarious informal work or informal settlements. Youth unemployment and lack of opportunities is another segment they touched on. Liberian youth make up a large portion of Liberia's population, but job opportunities are extremely limited. Many young people struggle to get stable, decent paying jobs. For many, informal sector work is the only option. We tend to be precarious, poorly regulated, and often the target of police or institutional abuses. The lack of access to quality education and training adds to the problem. Even when schools exist, many of you cannot afford them. Higher education is a luxury for few. This leaves a generation of young people with limited prospects, driving frustration, homelessness, and in some cases, increased vulnerability to crime and exploitation. We talked last week, Friday, about mental health. As I've always said, we want to talk about things that are data-driven. You hear me reading the data. And the interpretation thereof. I think last week or this week sometime we read an editorial from Dr. Clarence Moneybar. The paradigm in Liberia has to change. Something has to give. If you live in your bubble in Monrovia and you have a job and you're driving your $60,000, $100,000 car, and you think it is all okay, you are dreaming, and it is just a matter of time. Life in rural areas in Liberia is unbearable. We are not making this stuff up. If policymakers do not address the issues we are talking about, rural poverty, Liberia is in trouble. Share the show. Say in your comments, and please let us know where you're calling in from or where you're tuning in from. If you are in Radio Land, we say welcome to Truth FM 96.1. We want to say hi to our friends in Nimba County, the home of the great Myean Torgbean. I want to say hi to Grand Bassa County, my place of birth. We are rich. We got oil. We're swimming in oil. Nimba don't even have oil. We got oil. Another Bassa land is Magibi. The Gibi people, the Marshall people, y'all combined. Now y'all Magibi. My Bassa and Pele friends. Welcome to the great people from the Farmington River. My great family is in the great city of Brewerville, Jesus Chapel AME Church. If you are in Monrovia, I want to extend my greeting to Eliza Turner AME Church on Camp Johnson Road. If you are in Rabba Sports, we say welcome. Our great friends from St. John's. If you are in the Harper area, we want to say hi to Kipama's High School. Our Lady of Fatima. Bishop Ferguson. If you are in Monrovia and you are a Cardinal, if you graduated from Tomalin High School or went to Tomalin High School, welcome. St. Patrick's, CWA, Well Heston, Charlotte Talbot, G.W. Gibson. We want to say AGM. I have to call AGM. St. Teresa's Convent, B.W. Harris. Today we are going to be sending messages via some of the great minds from the Republic of Liberia. They are educators and successful ones at their craft. The young man from Tomalin High School by the name of J. Victor Nagbe is going to be, he's an educator in the great state of New Jersey. He will be here to talk education. We are going to be talking about pedagogy. They will come and tell us all those big B terms, what they mean. But let's talk about money. Good news out of the Republic of Liberia. Orange Money launches instant Amazon gift cards in Liberia, powered by Blink Sky. Orange Money Liberia has rolled out instant Amazon digital gift cards that customers can use to buy and send directly to mobile phone. In the move, the company says will open a new channel for everyday digital spending, gifting, and rewards. The service, powered by a strategic partnership with Blinksky, a global digital care platform, is available now by dialing *144*168# on your Orange Money. According to the company, Amazon digital gift card purchased through Orange Money are delivered by SMS instantly, seamlessly, securely, and conveniently, and it never expires and can be redeemed on millions of items at Amazon.com. Orange say Amazon is the first of several top-tier brands slated for Liberia, with Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and others to follow, from Blinksky's catalog of 300 plus international and diaspora brands. This is great news for the young folks. Myean, you see your little money we're going to give you. Sometimes somebody going to give you. These people trying to fool you so you can spend all by buying bling bling. What do you think about it? This is great stuff though.
Yeah, anyway, it's good. No, Orange GSM is one of the best in Liberia in terms of what they do. But we have to observe the process and then see, because people are not used to the new process. So if you talk about this, the old man or the papa who is not even knowing what exactly you are talking about, they will not know. So except Orange management send out people to make awareness, to tell the people what is it all about, how it can be used, who are those, in terms of the angel phone or your body phone, how you can use it. That's how the people will get to know. But if you just say like this, people won't know what exactly you are talking about, Mr. Gayman. But it's a good step anyway.
Okay, now the question they are asking is why Orange is doing this. And according to Orange, it said Liberia remains largely cash-based. We are one of the only countries remaining now that uses cash everywhere they go. with limited access to international payment rails for digital content, e-commerce, and the subscription service. Many consumers and small businesses lack international cards or face friction when paying for apps, software, music, cloud tools, or even basic online purchases. That constraint also limits how local merchants run promotions, refunds, loyalty programs, and corporate incentives in a way that connects them to the global brand that customers actually know. So if you are in Liberia and you like your Coca-Cola or your Pepsi or your Nike or your Adidas, you do not have any means of purchasing any of these things online because we are cash strapped, cash based. Now you will have the option, like credit card, you can now buy online, you can do transaction online. So this is beautiful, beautiful. This is great for Liberia. We have to give it up. This is great. This is great. This is great. Again, ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday, Dr. Clarence Moneyba is going to be here as our guest. Before I go any further, it's 4:33 here. We want to talk a little bit about our fundraiser that is going on. We are appealing to you to be a giver. This is a week of giving, the season of giving. We have our cash app, the $C or TCA 2500. Send a donation that will make our workers on the ground, the young folks, give them a good Christmas this year, as you have always done. The closing argument says, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Contribution can be made by way of TCA, cash, the $TCA 2500. If you are comfortable using Zelle, the numbers are 678-438-3003. 678-438-3003. If you are comfortable with SendWave, is the same part. 0888-297-311 or 0777-649-986. If you are comfortable with Lone Star, is 0888-297-311. If you are from Orange, hopefully my French is good, 0777, that's 0777 649-986. Put a smile on somebody's face this holiday. Be a cheerful giver. I know it is rough. All your families and friends are calling as we speak. My phone keeps going off. Send this morning. Our people need help. Times are tough. If you think times are tough in Monrovia or Buchanan, you go outside of Buchanan or go outside of Monrovia and see what we are talking about. You go a few miles from Monrovia, go to Brewerville, Tody, and these other areas, and you see poverty. Abject, we're not talking about regular poverty, we're talking about abject poverty. People are suffering. Times are hard. We are appealing to you to do us a favor and help us out. Yesterday, we have some great folks sending in money. The queen of this station, Sarah Dopoh. Sarah Dopoh sent us contribution. Mr. Seleke Kromah was the first. He sent us contribution. Thank you very much. The greatest giver on this particular platform is Mabaro, Jan Mabaro. Someone upon whom we can rely every now and then. She never fails to put smiles on faces of our struggling folks back home. It doesn't mean she has it all or she's wealthy. But she understands the constraints and the plight of our people. We are extremely lucky to be in this country, to have an opportunity to work and earn a living. So when somebody works very hard and give you whatever they give you, be grateful. Don't say, thank you for the little thing you sent me. That's ungratefulness. However little it is, someone earned it. Most of us in this country, we are making money the old-fashioned way. We are earning it. We are sweating for it. Some people do 2 jobs. Some people, you walk into their home, they got beautiful homes. But they can hardly enjoy the home because they are just working and working and working. So if somebody works 2 or 3 jobs and sent you $25, appreciate it. So help us out, send us some money. Let us know where you're calling in from. Let me send a shout out to those who are on, wherever you are calling from. Jan Mabaro is here. Her name is now B Square. Bassa and Bong. So we're taking B to the second power. I know we got some mathematicians coming on. They will let me know. B and B, B Square. That's her name. That's her initial. The Pele Bassa woman. B Square, B and B. Emmanuel Coleman, I don't know where you are tuning in from, but we appreciate you. We understand that Truth FM just got about 6 brand new powerful transmissions, or what transmitters, going up in different counties. Now we are going to be covering all the West African countries, probably the Mano River Union countries, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and the Ivory Coast. Awesome investment from the Honorable Musa Hassan Bility. So here we are on this Friday while we wait for our educators to come. We got some bad news. As usual, that's life. It's always a mixture of stuff. Today we learned that Sweden is shutting down its embassy in Monrovia by 2026. Sweden will be ending the bilateral aid vow to preserve deep ties with Liberia. You leaving and you think we keep ties. What kind of thing is that? You say I don't like you. I'm going to put in for divorce. You get a divorce people easy, but I'm going to stay in touch with you. Take your embassy and leave us alone. Sweden to shut down the embassy in the Republic of Liberia. You know this. The Swedish government have been very generous to our cause. The plight of the Liberian people. So this is major. It says Monrovia. Sweden has announced it will end all bilateral development cooperation with the Republic of Liberia and close its embassy in Monrovia by 2026, marking a shift in Stockholm's global aid approach that concludes more than 2 decades of direct Swedish development involvement in the Republic of Liberia. The decision announced in a statement issued Friday comes as Sweden reorganizes its international aid portfolio and made budget cuts that also impact other long-standing African partners, including Zimbabwe, Mozambique, and Tanzania. Swedish officials emphasized that the change reflects domestic fiscal adjustment. This decision has not been taken lightly, the embassy said. It stems from the reduced development cooperation funding, and it is not in any way linked to policies or events in Liberia. Sweden has been one of Liberia's most influential development partners since the end of the Civil War. From justice sector reform and governance support to education, gender equality, and institutional strengthening. Swedish-funded programs have contributed significantly to Liberia's post-war recovery effort. The world is changing, but Liberia stands still and in some instances reversing. First, it was the United States. They cut the USAID. Now Sweden is pulling out. You think Liberia would then say, you know, with all these people pulling out, we are now going to austerity measures. We're going to cut salaries and perks and stretch car and paying rent to people in Liberia and doing all of these things, buying car. We will now take these funding. Instead, they are asking the finance minister to go to Europe and beg for more money to replace what we have lost. We are aid dependent. CSA, Afriland loan, 50% salary advance, long-term loan schemes for civil servants. Way back they used to call this thing LPA, but let's look at what they are trying to do here. CSA Director General Dr. Josiah Jokai Jr. and Afriland CEO Michael Dorian Petty. Civil Service Agency Director Dr. Josiah F. Jokai Jr. on Thursday rolled out 2 major financial relief programs for public workers: a 50% mid-month salary advance and a long-term loan facility, delivering on commitment he made during his Senate confirmation and signaling what he called a new era of dignity and empowerment for Liberia's civil servants. the initiative launched in partnership with Afriland First Bank will allow civil servants to access half of their salary before payday and secure multi-year loan for housing, business, education, or other long-term needs. Officials say the program are designed to reduce financial stress, stabilize households, and boost productivity across government. Sounds good. We are going to allow our financial experts to dig deeper, but this is, I don't know about the advanced thing. I don't like that part, the LPA, but I like the part where they will be giving you loan for you to possibly build a home, start a business, or pay for school. Why it sounds good, we want to know what's behind this. Like President Joseph Boakai was speaking when he was running for president. He said, don't stop until what's chasing you stops. So we will not stop being critical until those critical issues are discussed with transparency. Is this in the interest of the Liberian people? What are the interests being charged on these loans? If a person making $150 a month and takes 50% of their pay, which is $75, how much is the bank charging them? After the bank take their interest and their charges, are they taking home the $150 or now going to boil down to $90 because 10% is going to the bank for loaning you money? That I disagree with. Is loan sharking. You cannot charge a man or a woman who is in a hole already additional interests. It's like gambling. You cannot gamble your way out of poverty. The American man says, if you are in a hole, stop digging. If $150 or $200 a month is not enough to carry you through, why should you take a loan in the middle of the month and pay interest to a bank? Who are those benefiting from such a scheme? We will dig deeper. Linda Near's collapse amid budget confusion. The Liberian news agency Lina, the government official wire service, is nearing collapse despite receiving over $706,000 in the 24-25 national budget, according to employees who described the newsroom as non-functional and lacking the tools needed to operate. Reporters and editors say the agency lacks laptops, internet service, transportation, and a working website, forcing staff to rely on personal phones, data, and makeshift systems to produce content that goes nowhere. The Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism, MECAP, under which Lena operates disputes the characterization and says the allocation listed on the Lena are part of MICA's broadcast or broader budget, not fund reserved exclusively for the news agency. Founded in 1978, Lena once served as the central distribution hub for national information gathering. Employees say the agency is barely breathing its own life support. Employees claim Lena previously managed its own operational budget, a practice the claim continued until Minister Jerome Matthew Pewee took office. While the national budget includes a designated line item called transfer to Liberia News Agency, Lena staff insist that aside from salary, no operational funds actually reaches the agency. Sources within the agency told the Liberia investigator, according to our sources, with approximately 30 employees, salary accounts for less than US $200,000 annually, leaving significant unspent appropriation that staff believes should support logistics, travel, website management, and basic reporting functions. Let me welcome our first guest, an educator, par excellence.
Hello, how you doing?
Dr. J, how you pronounce your name?
It's Dr. Josephine Basana Tingba.
Dr. J. Basana Tingba.
Yeah.
Tell me what high school you went to, because they are waiting to cheer you on.
Oh, okay. So I went to high school in Ghana. I went to Wesley Girls High School in Ghana.
Okay.
And one of the most prestigious schools in Ghana. So
there you go again. Your Ghanaian, everything out of Ghana is the best.
I know, right? If they ask me what that students say here, they'll be saying, "Oh wow!" But yes, but I went to St. Marcus, and when I was in Liberia, I attended St. Marcus Catholic School in Supermarket
in Monrovia.
Yeah.
So, folks, you want to say hi to your former school if you are from St. Michael and you are in Monrovia, or wherever you are in the world, you have a rep that is representing you proudly, because when she went to Ghana, she didn't go there and eat her school fees. She went there proudly, went to one of the best schools.
Yes.
And she's here to represent.
Yes.
So we want to say thank you to St. Michael.
And I can always say proudly that we had good foundations in Liberia. That's why when we transitioned to Ghana, we were able to excel in Ghana because of the foundation we had in Liberia then. So we are hoping that we can bring that back. Yes, I'm a proud student of St. Marcus Catholic School.
You see, I grew up in Buchanan, and my brother went to St. Peter Clever High School, and you can't tell him nothing about the Catholic school. He thinks that if you're from the Catholic school system, you are the top of the top of the top of the top.
Yes. Oh, yes.
So he goes out and trashes everything else if you are not. So he will be your greatest fan. He will be jumping now where he is in Buchanan, thinking that a sister.
Yes.
St.
Marcus Catholic School.
We are glad to have you here. As we wait for the other folks to come, let's talk to us. Introduce yourself. Who is Dr. Tingba?
So Dr. Tingba is a proud Liberian, and I'm an educator. I'm a community leader here in the Philly area, and I'm passionate about education. Currently, I'm into STEM and special education because I am trying to find a way that I can contribute effectively to the gaps that the war has caused in our country, with a huge population of our youth being unguided in a way. So I am passionate about funding access for youth, helping to make them successful by using, like, not copying other cultures wrongly, but by being proud of who they are, and then using that to excel in whatever areas that they are good in. So currently I'm doing some work in STEM because I know that's where everyone is leading, and I don't want our country to be left behind. So I'm doing some research on STEM, trying to find ways to take the same effort that we are putting in the Western world back home.
Excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, don't she look like Sister Dr. Nagbe? I have that rattan behind her back. See you in the corridor gallivanting, and by the time you turn around, whoa,
You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. Those who know me will say she's very quiet, calm and quiet.
Yes. So the more quiet they are, the tough that rattan can hurt people. But that is what we went through to be who we are. The discipline, the commitment, the dedication. Talk about your parents, those that made who you are.
Oh, may their soul rest in peace. My dad.
My condolences.
Thank you. My dad, Mr. Jack Doribasana. People in the Garguah area know him as Piccoli. And I'll tell you something. When we were growing up, my dad was very passionate about education. And I think among my siblings, I was one of the smart ones to notice that at a very early stage, because whenever you want anything from my parents and you go to ask him that, can you give me this? He'll tell you, you got to study so that you can be able to buy that and blah, 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 blah. But if you go and tell him that, hey, Dad, I need to get this for school, no question asked, you'll get that. And I was a smart one to notice that from a very early stage. And so the others followed me. But my dad was a civil engineer. He worked in Monrovia, Lamco. He worked all over Liberia. He built roads. I think one of his landmark would be the MTA. I don't know whether it's still MTA, but the MTA compound in Garguah there. So whenever we're driving by, he'll tell me, see that? I built it. I had that contract. So he worked in Lamco and all those places and did a lot of contract with those people too. So I grew up in a household where education was like, it was go to school. There's nothing else you need to do in this life besides go to school. And I always tell my friends that because my dad talked about education so much while he was dropping off to school, when the war came and we went to Liberia and went to Ghana, now that was not there, but because our mind has always been set to that high school is important. When we went to Ghana, we didn't have people to push us. We knew that we had to put our legs down and go to school, and that we did. So I always tell my kids that, hey, I never had parents that, because they were in another country working to be able to take care of us, but because they had already instilled that in us, without them there, the silent voice was always there to guide us. And when I meet parents, I tell them the same thing. I tell them, hey, make sure you are instilling quality advice in your children, because believe me, when you're not there, your voice is still playing in their head. We have to get away with the African syndrome where when we have the opportunity, we want to be shouting and yelling and cursing our children. And so, no, that is not the way forward. Because when you're not there, they always have your voice in the background, telling them, reminding them of the same conversations that you had. My mother was a housewife, so she stayed home and took care of us, whilst my dad was on the road most of the time. And they contributed a lot to the Ghana's Bay area. I'm sure there are some people who might be listening. I said, oh yeah, no Piccoli. They used to call our house Piccoli Ya in Shoe Factory. And a lot of people know him. During the war, we went to Guinea. And even in Guinea, he still continued to help a lot of people and encourage a lot of people to go to school. So when I meet my siblings and we want to talk about that, most of the time we go like, learn, and learn. That was his word. Learn, and learn. So I'm blessed that I had someone to instill in me the importance of education. And when given the opportunities, I always want to encourage other people that education is the only thing that can take you places. I have experienced that. And so I continue to encourage everybody.
Wow. How many children do you have?
I got 3 boys.
I feel sorry for them.
I got 3 boys. I got 3 boys. And yes, because my husband also is a very strict academia, just like myself. So our friends laugh at us and tell us, "Oh my God, your kid's going to suffer." But no, you'll be surprised. I think the conversation is just like any household conversation. We just encourage them to do their best in whatever they do. We don't push them. At the end of the day, we want them to enjoy what they're doing. And the only way children will be engaged is when they have interest in what they're doing. So going at the days where we say, you'll be doctor, you'll be engineer. No, we don't do that no more. We have to encourage and ask them, what do you want to do? What do you like? And encourage them to use what they like or their strength to pursue their career goals.
Excellent. If you grew up in a home where you have both mother and father educators and they are pressing you, somebody in our house had to have a soft spot. You gotta tell me, the kids know there gotta be somebody there. There gotta be a soft spot. Who do they run to?
I think it's me.
And a boy, they gotta run to the mom, no matter what.
I think it's me because my husband is very straight. Oh my God, he's very straight. And he's got a soft spot to he at times when it comes to education now, he doesn't play with that, but he's also spot. I think we all got our soft spot in different areas. So there are times that I am straight on certain things, and he's the go-to person, and then there are times he's the go-to person, and I'm the go-to person when he is straight on something else.
Well, guys, do us a favor, share this show. We are in for a treat. Usually we celebrate politicians and musicians and celebrities and sleaze talkers. Today we are talking about the most important people in our life, but the least paid. Educators, we got them here. We're going to be talking about it. And as the other guys come on, we're going to be talking about a big word in education called pedagogy. What is that? We're going to talk about it. But if you grew up in a home where your parents are educators, those 3 boys that live in this home, I feel for you. You will be reading until you fall asleep.
No, it's not like that at all. It's not like that at all.
Oh, come on. go find something to read. Go make use of yourself. Read. And we just keep reading and reading and reading and reading and reading and we just read. But it's a good thing. It is a good thing that you have parents who will push you to do the right thing. You can never go wrong when you are educated. When your mom and dad are gone, there's only one thing that no one can take away from you is your education, because that makes you a global product. You can move anywhere and make a living.
Yeah.
That's what education does to you. Now tell me your specialization in education.
So, like I said, I went to school in Ghana, and when I was going to high school, I'm a math person. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
People call me the math lady, and I think people tired hearing that, or are tired hearing that also. But my background is in mathematics, and how it started when I went to school.
Jesus, mathematics.
When I went to school in Ghana, I just didn't like, the stereotype of people saying girls are not good in math, girls are not good in math. And some people are challenged by that. I don't know whether it was challenged or I was challenged, or maybe I just like math, but I guess the two play in it. But when I had the opportunity to choose between math and biology, because in science in Ghana, in Ghana at that time, you either a science student or an art student. Well, art was not my favorite subject at all. When I was in school, I used to love math. In the Catholic school, those who can remember these flashcards days, I mean, that I used to be so excited when they say flashcard. Everybody wanted me on their team because, hey, few seconds I get the answer right and my team winning. But when it comes to spelling, then I start hiding myself. So, my stream was not in arts and literature and stuff like that, but it was in science area, math area. So when I went to school in Ghana, I had to go to high school. I went to do math and I went to do science. And then science in Ghana, you either do math or biology. And so I went for math. So I did math in high school. Then when I was going to university, I went to university in Ghana. My first degree was in Ghana also. And I wanted to be a civil engineer just like my dad. And that was the goal. Every time I remember when I was growing up, anyone asked me, what do you want to be? I just wanted to be like my dad, a civil engineer. But then when I got to writing the entrance exams in Ghana and filling in the forms for what I want to do at a university, and I just got tired of people saying girls are not good in mathematics. Girls are not good in mathematics. And so instead of doing civil engineering, I said I'm going to do math. And that's how my journey with mathematics started. I did math. There was we were about 106 in the department. First year students, there were only 6 ladies and 100 guys. And we went through and was successful. And I enjoyed it. I'm so passionate about numbers, trying to make sense of it. Numbers can never lie. So, I'm a very truthful person too.
Talk to me about the definition of your beautiful name. That name is beautiful. Talk to me about that name, Pasana.
Oh, that's my maiden name.
I love it. Tell me what it means.
Okay, so it's a long story, and I don't want to take you all around the world. But
no, come on now. The name can be it can be all around the world now.
I don't want to take you all around the world with my stories. But Pasana is my dad's trying to coin his name and to make it a little bit appealing to the ears. That's all I can say for now. But if we local name, if I've mentioned it, you're not understanding.
Oh, Listen, when I go to in my office here, I got people. They are Polish, the Jagabaski, and all of that, and I understand it. Why wouldn't I understand Masada?
I know, right?
Let me welcome Ms. Telby Cole. Telby, welcome to the show. You are muted.
As always, happy Friday. Glad to be on. Glad to be in the space. I want to welcome our dynamic guests. Also, I always want to tell him thank you for taking time off the work schedule, because I know how it is to juggle two things. I'm still technically on the clock. I got another 30 minutes to go, and I'm here. So I know what it's giving up to be here. So thank you.
Let me welcome Dr. Sa.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Today it's a battle of the doctors.
No, we don't do that.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let me welcome a true thinker, a writer, an intellectual, par excellence, truth in ink. Seleke, welcome to the show. You are muted.
You're mute.
He's not a mathematician, you see. He can calculate.
Well, fortunately we have a diversified panel today with very great minds. Always good to share the stage with the doctor there, Dr. Myean, our own doctor. I mean, who are in her regard, and the rest of you guys. I'm sure today will be highly educative. I think these are the kind of shows we need to keep having. Sometimes, take a little breather from the strong political thing and provide some guidance. Beyond that, it is important too, which started, that people in our community, particularly the young ones, understand that there are very diverse and successful Liberians in different fields, and there are other paths to achieving your potential and greatness outside of the everyday marching band, political stuff, and so it's a great opportunity to be here on this Relaxed Friday. And Doc, I will hit you up later after the show at the Cine. So good to be here tonight. We look forward.
Excellent.
Specific topic today, Jerome, one of the best moderators we have.
Education. That's it.
Oh yeah. But that's okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, that's some area we want to talk about too.
Yesterday we talked and we profiled the great Warren Buffett. He says, an idiot that is well prepared will beat an unprepared genius any day. So when we come to these things, we come prepared. We got mathematicians, we got philosophers, we got cybersecurity folks, because we do not want to be geniuses that are being beaten by smart idiots. So here we are. We are well prepared. We got mathematicians. I don't want to be in her household. She teaches math. I don't want to do calculus. I don't want to do anything that has to do with math. That's why when I started at the University of New Jersey, they told me how to do remedial. I said, I ain't argue with you. I would do it because I'm looking at the bigger picture. Let me welcome Honorable Victor Nagbe. Welcome, Chief.
Hey, it is good to be with you guys. Happy Friday to you, Mr. Gayman, and our guest, Dr. Tingma, Sister Tingma. It's good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Dr. Parker, it's good to have you as well. Telby, Ms. Cole, it's good to have you. And
you better start calling me doctor.
Okay.
Just okay. Doctor, no, not doctor. Doctor.
Just okay.
All right. Doctor. Telby, it's good to have you. And Amen. You gotta talk to us, man. What's going on here with you and your UP, your CDC people? I know you said they're not playing today, but we're very concerned.
We want to protect these educators and focus on that today. So I plead the faith to keep my mind in that direction. So I really want to focus on the panel today, but I plead the fifth.
Hey, once you're okay, I'm happy. That's all.
Oh, no, I don't think good. You know, the political theory go like that sometimes. You know, we pay for this thing. So I can fire a question now.
No. Listen, today we are here to celebrate educators. You know, Victor Nagbe is also an educator. And the reason I'm afraid of you guys is he's a calculus person, he's a math person, he's into chemistry. These are scary people. Victor, talk to us about your education and what is it you do for a living.
Well, you know, it's interesting. I went to St. Michael's School as well in Gardensville. Yes.
You went to St. Michael too, Terry?
I did. So, there's a kindred spirit here on set. But yeah, I did go to St. Michael's School before I went on to government school. I graduated from Boston High School after that. I went to Boston Elementary and Junior. I went to Tottenham High School. And then I went on to Cuttington. That's where I did my my undergraduate studies. That's where I did my chemistry as well. And then came over here, did additional chemistry. I went to Stockton here. I went to Seton Hall. You know, went to Rowan.
Cali people.
Absolutely. So it is great to have you all on set. I believe it's going to be an interesting show today.
Excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, do us a favor, share the show on your platform. We are not talking sleaze here. We are talking real stuff. Guys who went to school, earn. You know, like we used to say, E.F. Houghton used to say we make money the old-fashioned way. We earn it. Mm-hmm. So we are talking about educators here that have earned their stripes. And mostly in the areas of calculus, they are calculating stuff, they are talking. Let me talk to Dr. Baka here. Dr. Baka, introduce yourself. Who is Dr. Baka? For me, it's my first time meeting you.
Oh, thank you. And it's a pleasure meeting all of you. And I want to say welcome to everyone. A special recognition to Dr. Timber on your achievement. I know what it takes to earn a doctorate degree. I know most of you guys are from St. Michael's. I was just the keynote speaker at St. Michael's Alumni Association event here in Minnesota, but I did not go to St. Michael's. I graduated from Lake Middle High School in Liberia, and then went on to earn my first undergraduate degree from the University of Liberia, and subsequently came to the U.S. where I earned a second bachelor's degree at the University of Minnesota. I have 3 master's degrees, an MBA in finance, a master of science in project management, and also a master in educational leadership. I just recently earned my PhD in higher education. I've been faculty here in the U.S., a professor for about 10 years. I also have my teaching experience that was established back in Liberia, where I taught a couple of vocational schools, and I helped to co-write the foundation of the YMCA Computer School back in Liberia. And so I've been in education for quite a long time. I teach at the North Hennepin Community College here in Minnesota. And I also lectured as an adjunct faculty at the University of Massachusetts in a global online program. So that's a little about me. When I'm not in school, I'm playing basketball or I'm watching some Barcelona game happening somewhere. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a mouthful. These people they know so much book. It scares you. Now listen, you see in Liberia we are all very stereotypical, right? If you're from Grand Bassa County, you go to college, they all wind up at the law school, at Grand Law School. All the Bassa people go to law school. so you say you are from Grand Bassa, say, okay, which kind of law you doing? So it's all about politics and law when you're from Bassa. So when you call your name and you're associated with Lofa County, Bone County, the first thing that people think about is you are a mathematician or you are a chemist. All the hard sciences go to those areas. Then when I met Nyankwa Zeze in New Jersey in the 80s, so he called his name. I said, I know exactly. And I said, I know you are either CPA or chemist. He said, I'm a CPA. I said, I got you. So listen, for what you guys do, we want to take this day to pay respect to our educators. You are the most important person in the world, the least paid, the most disrespected. But every engineer, every scientist had a teacher. Every successful president, you can, whatever you want to call him or her, she had a teacher like you. So it is the preparation that we get from people like you, get them to where they are, and then they're walking around with their badges. So we want to take this time to honor you for what you do. We love you, we care about you. And I've always advocated for more pay for our teachers. No matter how much you pay them, they are not paid enough. Tell me, our guests are here. Thank you very much for putting the panel together. We're here to respect and honor them. But in the meantime, to learn a lot about what is there to do, how to do it, how long to be doing it, and what can we do to help carry this here along. Your take.
Yeah, definitely. We really appreciate them. It's so hard to teach. You know, I tried it for a year or two at a community college, and I was just like, ouch, I can deal with this plus work. So seriously, I may revisit it, but just knowing that they're educators, it's because of them that we're here. Like I was telling somebody, you know, the foundation plays a very important role. It's because of the solid foundation that we had in Liberia. That's where who we are. And sometimes when people ask you, what did you go to school, or what did you learn English from? Sometimes I even get in the look before I even tell them, because like it started way back. It didn't start here pretty much, but I get it, the attitude first before I tell them where. So I'm making light of it, but I just want to say I really appreciate our foundation, and even for them to even come here and just continue to teach our children and to teach us. You know, I'm still in school too, and so just when I see you guys, I've had some African teachers as well. One of my teachers this term, he's from, you know, Uganda or something. He's an African teacher. So I always see you guys in them. And so I'm so proud of you guys. Thank you again for taking your time off your schedule. We just want to learn from you guys. We know you guys are the experts, and we're here to take notes, to learn, and to connect. And before I end, please, if you have I know everybody here, Doctor. CC, you will come here. I know you haven't introduced yourself. I see your Jago Lanto behind you there. But please put your credential up. If you have whatever Doctor Plus certification, please put it in there for two reasons. One, through these shows, we want to build healthy connections beyond Facebook, so people can connect with you guys too. And also they can connect with you guys on LinkedIn. I know after these shows, like the last show, after the show, I connected with one of the panelists. So the other two are probably new, but the other one I didn't know. But we connected on LinkedIn, because that's where the professional space. And two, so the viewers can know your credentials, because we don't. Sometimes in these conversations, we get in the moment, and I, for one, I will not be committed to calling you doctor throughout the 2 hours conversation. So please forgive me upfront. Please forgive me, but please put your credentials so everybody can know you're a doctor or what certification, because we've had situations where we're taking feedback for process improvement, but we got a situation where somebody felt offended because we didn't refer to them as doctor throughout the show or 3 hour show. It was nothing intentional, would not be unprofessional. Quite honestly, my sister, my chief information officer, if I dare call him Mr. SXS, you would say call me John. But I understand in our Liberia setting, we like to be called by our handle, and you work for it. But please forgive us up front if we don't refer to you in the 2 hour space as doctor in every sentence. It is not intentional. We're not minimizing your degree. We know you work very hard for that. I know, because I'm still in school, still learning, continual learning, a continual learner. So please forgive me. I wanted to just put that out there. Thank you, Mr. Gayman.
Thank you. Let me welcome Mr. C.C. Goya, one of the premier educators in our community in the United States. Has done very well, very successful in his line of work. Honorable Goya, welcome to the show.
Thank you. When you set me up like that, you set me up for failure. But thank you. No, on a serious note, it's really good, you know, to leave all of the trash on the other side and sometimes just focus on on the meet. So it's nice to be here. Dr. Tuba, I haven't met you before. I hope we meet someday. My own little brother, Dr. Paka, him and I come from way back, 20th Street Beach, Gil Beach, behind JFK. So I've been knowing him forever. My name is Kehleboe Gongloe. I come from Zolowo, Lofa County. I was born to 2 teenage parents, one in the 5th grade, one in the 3rd grade, because they started school so late. And so education has been a driver for me. And because my mom had me, she had to drop out of school and never went back to school. And so she sacrificed her future for me to have a life. And so I take education very seriously, because I believe she would have done much better had she given me a way and continue to school. I graduated high school in Liberia. I graduated from the R.C. Lawson Institute. I have my first degree in Liberia in accounting from the CW Junior College Program of Business, now on the UMU. I went to Catholic schools throughout my life. I hold a bachelor's in mathematics and a bachelor's in electrical engineering, a master's in pure and applied mathematics, a master's in secondary education, and a master's in educational leadership. Throughout my term here in the U.S., this is my 15th year in public school education. Spent 13 years in the classroom teaching mathematics at a high school level. So Algebra 2, pre-calculus, calculus, IB, diploma programs, and all that stuff. And intermittently, we spent some time at a community college teaching calculus. I most recently served as one of 3 chairs of the Minnesota State Standards. So we wrote the state standards for the state of Minnesota, K-12 education for mathematics. Before then, I served as a board member on the Minnesota Council of the Teachers of Mathematics. I also had a contract to as an item writer and item reviewer on the new SAT math and the Acuplacer entrance exam that folks takes. We wrote the math portion of that. Without going too deep, currently I serve as the director of mathematics and sciences for Minneapolis Public Schools, the 3rd largest school district in the state of Minnesota. Serves over 28,000 students with over 80 schools. I oversee all mathematics K-12, all science K-12, all physical education, all health education.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you got a platitude of great folks. Let me go to Victor Nagbe. Victor, your area expertise, today you are not a panelist, you are an educator. We are celebrating educators today.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jerome. Let me welcome on set Mr. Seleke Kromah. I believe he left out something, so I'm just reminding him. I think you have a master's in political science.
I plead the 5th.
There you go.
But listen, it is good to have you all here. Hopefully, we can unpack some of this stuff. What's going on with the education system? How we can propose smart solutions, very uncomplicated but impactful, suggestions to improve our sector. And I'm glad that Sister is on set, with the background math and engineering, as well as Dr. Timba, and also my brother Parker here, very extensive background. So I'm very happy to have you guys here. Telvi is here and Ahmed is here. Let me ask you, if you were to, and I know this is going to be very difficult for you, but if you were to propose a very simple, less than 1 paragraph solution to how to tackle what is ailing our primary education system, I'm not even talking about the higher education. We'll get to that later on. Universal Liberia, all of that. Based on your observation of what is happening back home, Philip Plevin and others have written extensively about what they observed. But let me start with you, Sister. If you were to make just on the spur of the moment, off the curve suggestion, what would you start with to help improve education in Liberia, primary education?
Well, thank you.
Let's just say K-12.
K-12, yeah. So because that's my jam. So K-12. I think what our system suffers from is not policy. We have a plethora of policy. As a matter of fact, we have so many data points. We don't implement that. What we suffer from is funding. Funding, putting your money where your mouth is, right? And so funding for infrastructure, funding for teachers' education, funding for updated curriculum. And I think one thing we're really good at doing that we've done so well in so many administrations in Liberia is to define on papers what we want our educational system is. We haven't walked that walk. So I think if you ask me for just one piece, because I know there's so many things, is first defining what is the meaning and what is the why for K-12 education. I think as a nation, if we determine what is our why, that helps us on the how. And then that determines whether we put a lot of focus, financial focus and political focus on moving that why. But if we don't know our why, that's why we all around the places that we're in the wilderness for education. We're trying so many things. We're 40 days in the wilderness and we haven't reached the promised land because we have not defined our why.
Thank you. So I'm gonna take away from you funding, lack of funding. Dr. Timber.
For me, I will go to the teachers. I will focus mainly on the teachers. We are where we are because we don't have qualified teachers in the classroom. The funding will come just in case. Funding will be there, infrastructure will be there. We have everything in place, but if we do not have qualified teachers to implement all the beautiful prints we have on paper, we will be at zero. So I really want us to start at a point where we start like labeling and identifying what we call qualified teachers and how do we get them there.
Okay.
I mean, like I was listening to the short presentation the Ministry of Education Minister gave to us at the Diaspora Conference, and she was like, there are over 6,000 teachers. There are over 60,000 teachers, but a lot of them are unqualified. So we have a lot of, they call them volunteer teachers because most of them are just there because they have to fill the gap. So we have to get to the point where we can start, like, identifying what we term as qualified teachers and how do we get them to that place. We have the people available, but how do we make them become qualified teachers in the term we want them to be?
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Timber. Dr. Parker. So we have Mr. Guerra, he's talking about lack of funding, and of course, then we have to address the why, and that will lead us. Dr. Timber is talking about lack of training, qualification. What would you say, in a nutshell, is what is ailing our K-12 education system in Liberia?
All right. So my background is in higher education, especially university and community college level. Okay. So we get to have the experience as it relates to the challenges that K-12 students experience from Liberia, and especially when they transition here to the US, we get to see firsthand the limitation that exists. Based on the area that I teach in terms of computer science, I would say digital literacy, in terms of having a digital presence in the classroom in Liberia is a major issue. It has created, I would say, both an economic divide in terms of digital presence not being available and digital presence not being accessible. So I think what we need to do, we need to, as a people and as subject matter expert, is like Sister said, we need more investment, and digital presence in the classroom will be the result of increased investment in the classroom. And based on Dr. Timber's point, if we have digital presence, we also need to ensure that we have the faculty and staff that have the expertise and the expert knowledge to teach utilizing technology in the classroom. So the incorporation of these three different variables will help to advance education relative to K-12 education in Liberia. But we have a lot to do, but these are just the top three that we've identified so far.
Thank you. Jerome, I'll pass it on to you. You're the moderator, but as I'm passing on, let me tag on in addition to what my colleagues are saying.
Because you want educator too. I want you to be in the hot seat. I don't want you want to ask you the question.
So I'm going to tag on to what it just indicated. I think we also need leadership, someone to take the lead, take the bull by the horn, and model, what it is that they want us to do, and we can follow. So I think leadership helps a lot as well. But I absolutely agree with the points that especially the funding and the training, and then my brother from the higher education is observational, quite a place.
Great. Seleke. You are
You're
muted.
mute.
And take that hoodie off so we can see your face. You scared?
Oh, yeah. So, well, I mean, beautiful suggestion. I just hope sometimes, most of our people, particularly in that sector, are able to reach out, or perhaps the reverse, to just create a think tank at the level of the Ministry of Education where these different suggestions, they can have a means of channeling these different suggestions and ideas. Because I also want to think that because the education system deals with people, it has to do with both psychological and all the kind of different things. So sometimes the solution will come from different areas, not necessarily just people sitting in government. And so we need to create that space. So for example, oftentimes I've noticed over the last, I would say 20 years, starting from Madam Salif to now, part of the first approach people tend to give as a definition of their commitment to education is saying, for example, we put money in a budget to build schools. It's become the most common, the simple approach in the education. So how significant is that, looking at a sector that is, of course, so lacking behind every aspect, where our kids are struggling, perhaps they're not even able to read, like 12th graders reading like third grade and stuff like that. But the approach often is from the government side, policy-wise, is we got money in the budget, we're going to build more schools. How do you deal with that? How do you manage that? Or in what term of the priority that comes in a sector of Liberian nature, not the American sector where the system is all built up, then maybe you say it won't be additional school, but it's sector like Liberia. And the question is for just each and any of you.
Let me start with Dr. Cici Goya. Go ahead.
Well, we have so our needs are so many, and our resources, we have so many needs competing for very few resources. And Seleke, you're right to the point, right? But I think one of the things we struggle with is which is the horse and which is the cart, so that we're not putting the horse before the cart, right? And I remember, so I'm going to put out here in the space, because when we talk about teacher qualification, I want to give an example. I was one of those people who, fresh out of high school, R.C. Lawson, 1993, class of 93, 94. Fresh out of high school, I got hired to teach junior high mathematics at Bishop Myean Institute. Fresh out of high school, I was teaching people going to take YX exam in 9th grade. And that was because there was education for most people, teaching for most people is, where I go rest until I get my regular job. And so if you're treating it that way, then there are very few people in the system that are very qualified. And if government is not paying well, then it's difficult to attract those qualified people. And so you have one teacher that's teaching 5 different schools. And he or she has to jump around. And some days, if I can't make it to the government school, which is going to be my last, I will send my TA. And you know who my TA is? It's either my cousin or some of those students in the classroom, right? And so it doesn't matter if we select a critical mass of really good curriculum and really good pedagogical pushes. You have these teachers who are trained, but because they need 5, 6 teaching places in order to pay the bills, they are running behind the money. And so because of that, you have a qualified teacher that's spread so thin. And so then you have unqualified people in the classroom. I like the fact that we're paying volunteer teachers and taking them from this voluntary status. I don't think any teacher should be a volunteer. But I think even when you start to look at, I'm just looking at a report that just got put out for 24-25 school year, August of 2025 this year. And I'm looking at teacher training. Early childhood education, for example, the qualification rate as defined in the 2011 Education Reform Act, we went from 35% to 72%, still low. But where I want to draw your attention is the secondary. We have 53%, only 53% of people teaching secondary school that have the requisite qualification by the Ministry of Education to teach secondary education. And we wonder why the WAEC exam is the way it is. And I will close on this. I used to teach in Brooklyn Center, where a lot of our students, when they come from Liberia and come to Minnesota, they come to Brooklyn Center High School. I used to have a lot of these kids that come from this prestigious school, these private schools in Liberia. Folks are paying $500, $600 US. And these kids will come to me sometimes 4 or 5 grades below grade level if I'm lucky. Sometimes 7 grade levels. I'm teaching you math in 11th grade, and you can comprehend math only at the 2nd grade level. But you came from one of the most prestigious schools in Liberia. So it is a complex web of issues that we have to deal with.
Excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, do us a favor, share the show, send in your comments, and we are going to pass it on to our experts here. When I was in grad school, I was lucky to have been tutored and mentored by some of the great minds in this country. One famous for Michael Dukakis, he said, please do not talk across discipline. You are into the social sciences, you are not a biologist, you are not a mathematician. Don't go out there talking Einstein's theory of relativity.
Stay on your lean.
Yeah, that is not your area. Don't go out there quoting Einstein. That's not what you do. So today we have qualified people who are in the area, well researched, well accomplished. They are here to talk education. Now I want to piggyback on what Sisi Goya said. When we talk about funding, like I usually say here in politics, it doesn't matter if it makes Sisi Goya president of Liberia, he will not do anything, because in a country that has 90% of its budget going to perks, there's nothing you can do with 10%. I'm saying that to say the Miami, the next county here to me, Miami-Dade, they approved $7.9 billion. One school district. $7.9 billion at just Miami-Dade. In my school district here, they just presented a bill for $1.2 billion, and we have 148,000 students. I also pulled up this research. It says here, Superintendent Mark Bedell submit $204.7 million capital budget recommendation to the school board of Brooklyn Park. So look at this number. This man is talking about without the resources, you can have all the qualified teachers, they won't be trained. There's no money for training. There's no money for salary. There's no money for bonuses. There's no incentive. So you are dead. But let me go to Dr. Parker here. Doc, yeah. It boils down to teacher education, teacher training. We're talking about, you got to do recurrent training. You do training throughout the year. You update your skills. You get new sort of, now they got AI. You guys are back in school learning AI. So it's a continuing process. Where do we go in Liberia? What will you say to our education minister now in Liberia? How to handle our failure? Because I look at the budget, they have $20,000 in the Republic of Liberia for the whole country. Curriculum development line item, $20,000 for the entire nation. Dr. Parker.
Yeah, I think Sister said earlier, and I just want to make one thing clear on the show. Sister used to be my study class teacher back in Liberia, so I have to make sure I bring that in. But
well, Sisi Goya, you did an excellent job. You went on to pass all of us.
All right, but now I mean a man an old man. That's all.
Good with the Parker.
The beginning minds are self combo. So when you tutor them, you get a combo more.
Yeah, let me understand.
If you fail, you ain't getting nothing. Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, but on a more serious note, the lack of funding obviously is a major issue that challenges our educational system in numerous ways. And some of the pitfalls we have is that we have unqualified teachers that are bringing out students who are not ready to face the reality of college, or many students are being dropped out. Both government and the private sector need to focus more on public-private partnership to be able to advance our educational system in Liberia. The focus we always have, I know Seleke talked earlier about ensuring that the government building more schools. No matter how many schools you build without a qualified workforce, having a well-structured teacher training education in place, and also ensuring that we have measurable outcomes, right? just by sending the teachers into the classroom does not assume that teaching is occurring. How do we continuously provide resources? How do we monitor both our teachers and our students to ensure that we are achieving the outcomes set forth by the Ministry of Education? And in addition to that, how do we ensure also that the students are prepared for the classroom? Because many of our students, we might come to that topic. We have huge disparities in Liberia, right? Out of an income disparity, both economic disparity, and other areas. We have urban Liberia, rural Liberia. And the distribution of resources relative to school is mainly concentrated in Montserrat County or in Monrovia. So we need to be intentional as a nation, right, to diversify how we are spreading out the little resources we have, so that a child from my town of Foya in Lofa County can be able to get similar quality education as compared to a child in Monrovia. So there are a lot we have to do, but we have to make sure we establish priorities as it relates to where we are making investments relative to education.
Telvi, you have 2 questions. You are muted.
So let me go with the technology one, because I think the other question was partially answered, but I'll circle back. But time check, Dr. Timber have to leave. We only have her for 1 hour. She has another engagement.
So let's put all the questions to her first.
Oh yeah, we gotta bombard her before she leaves. But no, so I want to go with technology first. I think we kind of talk about it, but obviously we all know technology and AI is reshaping the world. But however, our school systems in Liberia, they struggle with basic, electricity or ICT tools and stuff like that. So when I think about it, I sort of think, can you recommend, or what are your thoughts about some practical ways that we can leverage what's going around the world or improve in that aspect, whether it be within a 5 years, 10 years time, some recommendation that any one of you guys can put on. And let's start with Dr. Timber, because she's here to lead. I mean, she's here for a short while, and then the guys can continue.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like I said, STEM has been I'm more passionate about STEM now, because that's where the world is heading towards. Unfortunately, in Liberia, when you look at the studies from Liberia, it's a little bit disappointing, because with all the passion we all have to have our students on the same path as the students abroad, there are certain things that are limiting, the provisions of this in Liberia. For example, electricity is one huge part of it. So how can we mitigate that? Someone would say, "Oh, let's use solar panels," but then we see that when they use the solar panels for the street lights in Liberia, people started stealing them. So now, how can we make sure that when we bring solar panels and other things, especially in the rural area where a lot of our children are being left behind, if we take it, how can we make sure that things that are being provided are staying where they are supposed to be and being utilized for the intended purpose they are there for? So I'm not deviating from your question, but what I've really been thinking about is we've talked about all the problems in Liberia, and every time you sit on every platform, it's the same problems. Now, what I really want to discuss is what can we do differently? What can we do differently from what is happening? And honestly, I mean, after brainstorming the whole process, I'm like, probably we need to get different actors in the whole process. We need to get partners to come in. Let's leave, let's not just sit and talk. Let's think about way of getting other people on board. There are a lot of professionals abroad here who are willing to give back to Liberia, to our children back home. I was just speaking to some people who were like, "Hey, I don't mind providing professional development for teachers for like an hour." So how is that going to happen? And my passion or my focus is really on the rural areas. How can we get that into the rural areas? So just get a group of teachers or volunteer teachers. Most of those in the rural area just learn as volunteer teachers. How can we get them on a platform where someone sitting in America is able to provide those services, have a professional development with them for just an hour? Those are the discussions we should be having. If unfortunately in our setting, a lot of people want to be smart and explore the system, which does not benefit the intended purpose, but that's where we have to get to. Those are some of the questions we need to be asking. How can we make sure that these things that we want to do, all these nice policies we have on paper, how can we implement them? So I think that's what I really want us to discuss. Everything we've all said is right. We've said this over and over. When I read the Ministry of Education platform also, they have the same problems that we are here discussing. But then what I really see is the way forward is getting partners on board. To be everybody, community leaders. A lot of alumni here want to give back to their schools. But most of the time, like, I think that they should be looking at it in a different way. Not like, buying chairs. Oh, yes, it's good. Don't get me wrong. Paying for scholarship is good. But I feel the root cause of it is not having, like, our teachers trained and then accountability and transparency in place to monitor what is really happening. If we can do that, believe me, we will be able to move a step further. Or else, it's like what they say in our laboratory, doing the same thing and expecting different results. No.
Yeah, before two of the panelists coming, Chami, but I want to ask. I always ask every group that come on here. Do you guys have a educators association in Liberia? I mean, in America? Do you know of?
Oh yeah.
Like Liberia Diaspora Educators.
No,
yeah. No, I talk about here amongst here because I asked the mental health people last week, and I'll be asking the engineer. Every group, I'll ask the organization among you. So no, but I think that's a good way to start.
We had one that went a little bit dormant and is back. We're revising that. We actually had a policy paper that we presented to the government of Liberia. So yes, we just need to recruit a lot more people. So it's nice seeing you here. I think that I will be passing your name along so we connect with you. And my own little brother, Dr. Paka, will be connecting with you all. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so but I'm glad that you guys got something works. But what are your takes on the technology and AI adoption in Liberia, whether 5 years, 10 years, and how can that begin? How that can be done?
Yeah, I would say we are far away from adopting different range of technology in the classroom in Liberia, right? And there are numerous challenges we have to accept at first. I've had experience in Liberia in which a colleague of mine established an institution in which we partner with a high school in Liberia to introduce digital literacy in the classroom. We provided the laptops, we provided the trainers and everything else. All we needed was to have the space and to have the electricity available to provide those things to the students. Unfortunately, the school could not afford that, right? And we did not have sufficient resources to do that. So that just gave me a practical reality as it relates to the fundamental challenges we have in Liberia. But we can still be able to adapt technology regardless of the challenges we have. I think most of our Liberian students or Liberian kids are being disenfranchised relative to digital technology because they have to learn the way some of us learn, right? We learn directly from the blackboard and writing down on papers. And it is a shame in the 21st century to have our students at this time still experiencing what we experienced back then. What we can do relative to digitalization of technology is, as Cece, Dr. Tingma said, we need to ensure that professionals in the diaspora, especially educators within different fields, are intentional about contributing and giving back. We need to ensure that when it comes to providing education in Liberia, we do not just copy and paste what's in America and take back in Liberia, right? I don't believe in that methodology. When I went to school briefly in Ghana, one thing I admired about that system is that whether they were teaching accounting or something else, they would talk about it in cities, right? They wanted to ensure that they have that local presence as it relates to student understanding what's happening. And also, we need to challenge ourselves as educators as well. We need to write our books, right? We have been reliant on foreign books to go into the classroom in Liberia. As an educator, I should be able to write a mathematical concept, as since they were home down in Data Tingma, a mathematical concept of playing marble in Liberia, right? A mathematical concept about playing Husker, so that somebody, a child from the
don't forget NAFO. We did NAFO people.
And this is why we talk about linking practicality in terms of the local presence to actually what's happening in our environment. So we have a lot to do. And when it comes to AI is a buzzword, right? We have to be careful how we really introduce AI. I'm a professor here in the US, and I'm still conservative as it relates to the utilization of AI in the classroom. Should it be used? Yes, it should be used by students. Students should be able to explore the usage. However, we should also take into consideration to focus on critical thinking, right? You cannot introduce AI and taking away critical thinking, which is an essential skill that is needed for somebody to truly learn, comprehend, and to be able to apply what they have learned.
Wow.
I think if I just want to
one minute, Doc. Let me welcome our other panelist, Sarah Dopoh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our beautiful guests, and also to you guys on the show, and to our followers. I have been following the show, listening to you guys. Great conversation, and I'm so happy to see my brother from the border on here. I know the border is supposed to be peaceful by now. So yeah, great conversation. I am loving it. I'm enjoying it. Our country needs all of these discussions. So thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Doug, you were in flight. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry for just jumping in, but I just wanted to make one point here. When you get in a classroom to teach math, most of the students will say math too abstract, and they don't even want to start to even take part in that. But when you make it so applicable, to whatever they see and whatever they understand, you can have the most abstract concept, but it will still understand it. So I'm just trying to buttress what I was saying right now, that our curriculum should be culturally relevant. We cannot have a curriculum that's talking about, I was giving an example of talking about 4 seasons where we can only focus on 2 seasons that is in Liberia. We cannot have a curriculum that's talking about different things that the kids haven't even seen. It takes their interest away from the whole learning process, and then to really impact whatever knowledge you're trying to impact it. Believe me, it will take a lot of effort. But when we make our curriculum culturally relevant, where we focus on things that the children see around, like someone was saying, those different games, give him example where concept will be built on, the games they play and other thing, or agricultural projects and other things will be based on whatever it is. Believe me, we get students who will start critically thinking, because we want to take them away from what my brother said, that we got used to, blackboard chalk, writing, look on the board, writing your class in your book, and then we all facing the teacher in the front. And there are a lot of things we have to do. But then, I just wanted to really buttress that our culture is being taken away from the whole learning process. He made an example of Ghana, where in Ghana, I was forced to learn the Ghanaian language when I was in school in Ghana. What about Liberia? From the K to 12, we should be teaching the different languages. Because most of the time when the children start growing, they don't even speak English very well, but they speak Bassa, they speak Pele. So at that young age, when we integrate the languages in the classroom, guess what? We will have a lot of success in the classroom than just focusing on English all the time. But thank you so much. This is a really great opportunity to just explore great minds. I've learned a lot even by just sitting here and sharing this platform with you. But I'm so sorry that I have to go. But I look forward to coming back again to continue this discussion.
Thank you very much. We salute you. We celebrate you. We look forward to seeing you again. And thank you for taking your time to teach us. I was hoping that before you leave, the educators here will come up with a subject and how you dealt with it in your class. But that's for another day. When you come back, we will
You'll be coming back to discuss the higher ed piece of it. So
yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we're talking about culture here. Let me go to another educator here. Let me go to Victor Nagbe. Victor Nagbe, this is personal to me because when I got to the University of New Jersey, after I got accepted, they were doing entrance placement, and they wanted to place me in my classes. So I sat for. They gave us a topic to write about, and the topic was the vitamin or the importance of beta carotene in carrots. This is a boy that came from Bassett, never knew what carrots were, never saw carrots. I don't know what carrots is, so I sat there and did absolutely nothing. So after the test, I turned in my paper, I told the folks, I don't know what they are talking about. So they told me, you got to do remedial in English, your English is bad, your English. I said, fine, because I wanted to go to school. But this is something that we'll talk about, culture. You talk to me, I know you're in a classroom, let's talk about culture. What's the advantage and disadvantages of some of us who are foreign?
Yeah, so education, Dr. Timwa left, you talked about the abstract nature of math. Science is also very abstract, and luckily for us, we can do labs and try to bring some of the concepts home, kind of hands-on experience with the kids, the students. So it kind of helps a lot. So education is more impactful if it is easy to identify with. I remember back home in the Southeast before I even came to Monrovia, we were reading about snowmen, and we have never seen snow. We didn't even know. We had no concept of what snow was, And so, yes, I agree with you. I think being able to connect whatever is being taught to the culture, the environment, it really brings it home easily for students. And that's one of the reasons why I believe so many of our students who were not born here, whose mother tongues is other than English. They're classified so often because of what you're saying. They understand, they're very smart, but they're culturally kind of limited. I don't want to say illiterate, but it takes them a while to understand the culture and be able to communicate effectively what it is they're seeing and feeling. So yes, and this is why even the curriculum, I think it was on the show we were talking about the poetry amount that has been set aside in the budget for curriculum development. I think $20,000 or something like for the whole country. This is something that even a school district is. Cece will tell you on the district level. I'm not sure if his district is using $20,000 to write even the math curriculum, let alone the whole science. You understand me? And this is very important because the curriculum is supposed to shape teaching and learning. You set the targets, the goals, and the students, they drive, they move towards those goals. So I absolutely agree with you. And before I pass it on, we were talking about technology. It is the future now, and we're being left behind again. Right now, I think there is just way too much concern about the children breaking and spoiling the computer than anything else. Again, because we don't have the money, it is too expensive for the kids to. We'll set it down and talk about it as opposed to they touching it and playing with it and doing whatever they want to do with it. Because our kids are very smart. But again, they have to feel comfortable. They have something they learn by touching. They got to touch it. They got to feel it. They got to play around with it. And before you know it, the master. How many of our decision makers you encounter on social media? Very few. Whereas nations now are being driven, social media. We know what happened from Tunisia down through, North Africa. Even here, the president of these United States, he has his own social media, Truth Social. So this is something I think we need to really push for because it's a new frontier now. And I think it will help us because if we utilize it efficiently, it could probably prove to be less expensive than the methods we use now. You know, you're talking about virtual labs and all these things. Those are all possibilities, you know. But I'm afraid we're already beginning to lag behind, you know, the technological education. So those of us who are in the STEM area, hopefully we can, you know, help push so that our people, you know, change the orientation. The technology in the classroom really is, I don't even know if it's the frontier anymore. I think we're moving into something else now. But we're still far behind. I'm not sure. Electricity, someone spoke about that. Solar panel, they say they're stealing them. I get that. We have to find a way to make them stay. But to have technology, you got to have electricity. You got to begin with the basics. You know, you got to have electricity to power the servers. You know, you got to have the internet. You know, you got to have the broadband. You know, I was saying here last night, another network. I think Liberia, when I was going to Liberia last year, T-Mobile told me we're on 1G. You know, and Sierra Leone is on 2G. You go to Ghana, you don't need to be in your apartment. Any part of Accra you are, you can get on your, once you have your subscription. Same thing with Lagos. You know, why can't we do that in Monrovia? You go to Calabash, you got to latch on to Seleke Kromah's Wi-Fi before you can do anything. Otherwise, you know, you got to wait until you go back to the apartment. Why? So those are some of the questions that I think, you know, we should address. I understand Elon Musk is there now, you know, Starlink, but how many people can afford it right now? You know, so I will pass it on, but I think those are some of the questions we need to tackle. But I think indeed, yes, technology is the future. I mean, now almost everything you do now is driven by technology.
Great. I'm coming to you, Seleke, but let me go to Honorable Sisi Goya. Sisi, I'm talking about culture, right? A guy who came from Basa, very confident that I was brilliant, I was smart. Someone tells me that I know absolutely nothing. If you are not strong, your self-esteem will be.
Well, how did you feel when I told you that?
I almost dropped out. Sisi Goya, talk to me about how do you massage people's ego, because the dropout rate, most of these things help towards the dropout rate. If you, for a young man or young woman who comes into your class and you tell him that, listen, man, you don't belong here, this and that, it kills your spirit, your self-esteem, and some kid would never come back. But I was a hard-headed guy. I said, you want to put me in remedial? I will go there because I want to learn. Talk to us about culture and how you deal with encouraging kids to prevent dropout.
So your experience is not too far from mine. Dr. Paka just talked that I used to tutor him. I tutor a lot of people in Liberia because math was my thing. Like, it came easily to me. I don't know why, it's my disability. So when I got here and went to Texas Tech in Texas, I took the entrance exam and got placed in remedial math. My dad and I were walking outside and go, dude, I thought you said you know math. You going to take remedial math? But here's what had happened, right?
What happened in there, dude?
Tell us the real story.
On the test, you know, they're taking this time test, right? The clock is in the corner on the computer, right? And of course, I'm fresh out of Liberia. I did computer science, but I only saw the computer and the keyboard and drew the monitor and the keyboard. That was all I had with computer. So I'm sitting on the computer and I'm taking a test. There were two questions that I had, two problems that had 3 questions each from the problem, word problems. One of them had to do with trout, T-R-O-U-T, the fish. The other one had to do with chandelier. I'm sitting there, poor bro from Gio Beach. I can let my candle and put it off. I need one candle to last.
Did you even know what a chandelier was?
Chandelier, I didn't know what a chandelier was. I thought it was a mathematical term. I thought trout was a mathematical term. I sat there and the clock is going by and I'm thinking, wait, they didn't teach me this in Liberia. I didn't finish the test. And so when my dad is pesking me and I asked the lady, I said, hey, I wrote down 2 words here that were math words. I didn't know them. I showed them to the lady. The Southern Texan started to smile. Is there, bless your heart? A trout is a fish, honey. I'm like, a fish, tell me, a fish. Tell me. And so she said, well, now that you know that, if you took the test over, what would you do? And they put me back in the test, took the test, got placed in calculus 2 at Texas Tech, right? The problem here is we have, in culture for me, you know, most of my students would tell you that I went to Brooklyn Center High School. When you walk in my classroom, the largest flag was the Lufakante flag. Every Wednesday, I was dressed as an African going to school, like in my African regalia. And the Liberian kids would go, Mr. Goya, you're making us shame. I said, what making you shame? To be an African makes you shame, to bring your culture to you. But, you know, we in Liberia, we have a lot of culture, a lot of curriculum that is cultural neutral, which makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. So Tavi and I were talking in the background. I'm going to take your time a little bit. Just bear with me. We're talking in the background about this piece. I'm going to count in Loma, and if you can count in your tribe, count in your tribe. But I want to lay a perspective here. I also count in Pele, Sabaga, count in Kisi, I dare you. But when we count in Loma, we count from 1 all the way to 9. So Gila, Flogo, Sago, Nago, Dolu, Dista, Dofla, Dosava, Tawu. That's 9. We get to Poo. Poo is 10. A lot of our tribes call 10 Poo. Here is what happens in the number system that we have. The Arabic, Hindu-Arabic system that we have, 10 does not exist. Victor knows this. It is a modular system. You get to 9, it says the next number after 9 divided by 10. We say 10 goes there 1 time, remainder 0, that's 1 and 0, that's 10. The next number 10 goes there 1 time, remainder 1, that's 1 and 1, that's 11. When we get into Loma, we get to 10, we do the same thing. We say 11, we say 10 and 1. Pugo kai glad. 12, 10 and 2. Pugo kai flogo. 13, 10 and 3. We do that until we get to 20. Then we say 2 set of hands. So we are multiplying 2 times 10. We get to 30, we say 3 set of hands. 44 set of hands. We do that till when we get to 99, because we have to shift 1 unit over, because that's place value, right? We have to get 100. We say 1 hair, poo, in Loma. And so we shift the number over. And so you start to see a correspondence between the alphanumeric system and the way we count in Loma, the way we count in Pere, the way we count in Kisi, the way we count in Bassa. Because I've talked to Bassa people and Crown people, that's how we count. But when we teach it in our villages, when we teach it even at Tottenham in the heart of Monrovia, we don't connect that. We teach them as if to say our people do not have ancestral knowledge. We ignore community epistemology, the knowledge of our ancestors. And I will end on this one piece. The swing bridge. I don't want to call it monkey bridge because it's derogatory, but the swing bridge. In my village, in Lofa County, we built the swing bridge. And our old people know what kind of a ropes to use that have saps that will connect together, that will hold together. That's chemistry. Those things stay there for years. They swing through. That's the pendulum swing. That's mathematics. That's engineering. That's physics. How many of our teachers would take our students to a field trip to go and learn the mathematics and highlight that? We take that as primitive knowledge. We ignore it, and so we take westernized, Eurocentric education, and we don't massage it like Dr. Paka said. We don't make it Liberian nice. We just copy and paste it. And I think that is where we struggle. That is why you would teach a kid 2 times table, and we'll go 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 2, 4, get to 2 times 12, 24, and they say 2 times 13, and they say, we didn't teach me that one. Because we have not taught them that you are continuously adding 2 and adding 2. We teach them the rote memory, not what actually that thing means. So I think we have to shift our teaching in Liberia from rote memorization to actually teaching and modeling. If I tell you 3x plus 5 is 7, how can I show that to you with Benabo and Pepe? How can I show that with you that when you go to Torgbean market, this is what 2x plus 5 equals 7 looks like, right? We don't do that. And so I think that's where we struggle, and I hate to take all of your time, but I really want to make that point, because that's one of the pieces that we do, that we teach in the villages, and we pretend like what we are teaching is so brand new, is so divorced from what our old people know, when in fact, I will argue that our people's knowledge was copied by Europeans and brought right back to us in a new shining bag.
Oh, Stevie, before we move to another topic, I want to just speak back on that. I want to push back on that a little bit, though. Yes, given all we know, though, how can we incorporate that whole learning thing into the now generation, their style of learning, so that it helps their comprehension, it helps their engagement? How? Give us some. Both of you, give us some ways.
So like I said, I was just on the Math Standard Writing Committee for the state of Minnesota. Some of the things we did in there, we also realized this was a big deal in Minnesota. And so in the state of Minnesota, there is a statute that got passed by the legislature that say every subject, but particularly math and the sciences, we will ensure that Native American contributions are highlighted. And so when I'm teaching, when my teachers are teaching math, they're teaching calculus, and they're teaching, actually not calculus, but teaching algebra, geometry, all the other pieces, it is on me to go and find those resources and help my teachers understand, here is how Native people are doing the same thing. Here is how it connects. I think we need to pass that to make sure that Native, ancestral, indigenous, however way you want to call it, the people that were in Liberia before we brought the other people curriculum, that their way of learning is applied. That is the only way we start to find value in ourselves. Because I find somebody in Lofa, I went to bury my mom recently, somebody who has never left the Lofa border. I'm speaking Loma to this person telling me I can speak Latin. Because for them, they think that the further away you move from who you are, the more civilized you are. And the further away we move from the learning and the education our people give us, the more civilized we feel we are, when in fact we are not. And so I think there has to be a conscious effort, and whether it becomes a law like we did in Minnesota or it becomes a movement, but it has to be a way where we intentionally, right? I was learning Shakespeare in Liberia, and they won't let me read Wotan Sankawolo, right? What is the essence of reading Macbeth in Liberia, in the village, in Lofa County, where people can speak English? When you got Wotan Sankawolo, when you got Baltimore and the rest of the other people, of the other writers. Why? It's because we have not, as a nation, defined what education is. It's come back to my why. Why should we be educated? If we define the why, then we definitely will be able to crystallize some of these things in either in the mindset or in statute or in policy.
Dr. Kwaka, you made a spectator. You enjoyed the show. Talk to us about culture. He did just talk about something that is very important, rote learning. Because the folks in the United States say if you do rote learning, you do not do critical thinking. So talk to us about what you do to encourage your student to learn and don't get discouraged like us. We didn't. We got high-headed. To us, we stay and we graduate. What do you do to maintain student retention? How do you deal with the cultural aspect of it?
All right. Before I come on that, I just want to expand a little bit on what Cecily was just talking about, right? He just mentioned one of the Liberian authors that I wanted to talk about, Wotan Sankawolo, right? What he wrote a book Why Nobody Knows When He Will Die, and I'm sure many of us can relate to that story. When it comes to integrating culture into education, there are a lot of benefits. One, the integration of culture enhances national pride, right? You have the opportunity to be able to teach the students directly about what impact their surrounding. You create an opportunity for students to be able to have that practical framework about their environment, right? So another thing I look at, and I'm not a cultural expert to get into this, is the aspect of the different, the rural education in Liberia. I'm not sure how far we have even gone to ensure that we contribute somehow to enhancing the kind of education that goes into the poorer society or the Sunday society, right? And those are places that most of our youth have to go because of some cultural relativity. So in order to be able to push forward, we need to start being intentional, and that has to be a policy framework on the basis of government and also on the basis of being welcomed by administrators within education. Those are areas that I think we need to look at. And then when it comes to me as a student and also a student before, I hope not to be a student anymore. When it comes to me as an educator in the classroom, I will give an example. When I came to the U.S., when I moved to the U.S., I decided to go back to school, and I applied at the University of Minnesota. And I was asked, like Jerome said, you have to go and they tell you to take some aptitude tests. And I was given the test to take, English test to take, because obviously I could not speak better English. We took the test, and there were a lot of different cultural representation when we wanted to take the test. People from Asia, from Eastern Africa, and different places. And I remember I performed well in the test, 90 plus. And then I was informed that I still had to go and take the English courses. I had to take 3 English courses. And I said, no, you cannot do that. I would not do that. And being self-aware, I applied for an appeal. And my appeal was granted. I said, you gave me the test. I took a test and I passed the test, right? But that because I had some sense of exposure, my education was much stronger. Well, let's think about a student, right, who did not have those exposure or foundation that come into the US and have to integrate into our system. The challenges there is that most often they do not, let's say 10 years before, they may not have the same cultural representation in the classroom in terms of seeing somebody who looks like you standing before you to teach you and influence you and impact you, right? So as an educator, especially in Minnesota, where we have a wide range of immigrants from Africa, when I go into the classroom, I've seen students who don't even know how to speak English. I've interacted with students from Togo, interacted with students from Cote d'Ivoire and other areas. Those students come to the classroom highly motivated, but there's just a little thing that can kill that spirit at the end of the day. Just by telling a student, I don't understand you, could kill his whole spirit. So there are ways in which they relate to us, right, as African instructors, then they relate to other people from other backgrounds because they know we understand their culture, we understand where they are coming from, and I understand why they are even shy in the classroom and don't want to speak. And I try to provide an environment in which there is that cultural acceptance as it relates to what John may know about Liberia may be important to what all of us can learn in this class. And I try to push the aspect of globalization in most of what I'm teaching. While I'm teaching project management, or I'm teaching management, or I'm teaching accounting, I try to ensure that we live, to ensure that my students understand that we live within a global society. Gone are the days wherein all of us will have to go into the office to work. We will have to work from behind our computer. And there are a lot of different cultures that exist from those areas. So this is what we need to take back into Liberia. We need to ensure that our students truly appreciate and value our culture. And that can only be done if educators like us are willing to rewrite the books, rewrite the curriculum, partner with the Ministry of Education to be able to advance localized education within our system in Liberia.
Great. Let me go to Sarah. Sarah, any question for our folks here? I am here just taking notes. You know, when I go back to Rutgers University, they can't tell me I can't speak English anymore because the AI is telling me that I spell Goya wrong. and they try to spell the Goya for me. And I'm saying to them, what's wrong with these folks? Go ahead, Sarah. Question for the folks.
Great conversation, and especially for you educators on here, discussing about some of the things that our people need to know, especially the school system need to adapt, which of course we don't see that. So my question is, do you guys have any plans of reaching out to the current government, or to see if you guys can partner with them, to kind of introduce some of these things? Is there any plan? I know, Sister, you said you guys just restarted your organization. Is there any plans for you guys to do that after you should have come together and find a way forward? Is there any plans to reach out?
Sarah, that's right. Hold on 1 minute, Cece. This is why we charge you when you come to class late. But anyway.
I'm sorry. You discussed it already.
Go ahead, repeat what you said.
We just started, but we did present a paper to the government of Liberia on the way forward. We did present a paper to the Liberian ambassador. As a matter of fact, we had a whole online Zoom conference, and we had the minister, we had the superintendent, the acting superintendent of MCS is actually at that forum, and we presented some way forward to them. Now, it's one thing to present, and it's another thing for people to walk with it, right? So,
that was the next question I was going to ask. Whether there's a timeline to anything, but anyway, I mean that's good. That's good because at the end of the day, we all want the best for our schools in Liberia, and to tell you the truth, we are really behind. we all know that we are really behind. So, whatever you guys can do as educators to reach out, I think that's commendable. And I hope the government will, really, really look into that and see what they can do, because we are behind 178 years old, go push it to 200, we're way behind. Absolutely behind.
I think, Sarah, before you leave, one of the things, you were talking about digital technology. I think most times when we talk about digital technology access, we keep talking about students and students and students. There are our teachers who don't even have that. And so if I'm trying, like I've tried to say, you know what, I don't have to physically travel to Liberia to do a professional development. I've trained teachers in the state. As a matter of fact, for the last 10 years, I was in charge of teacher licensing in my district. Like I would say, yes, your license get renewed or it doesn't get renewed, right? And I was on PALSB, the Professional Education Licensing Board, where we talked about how can we support and build such a structure in Liberia. How can I sit right here, like I'm sitting right here, and run a professional development for math teachers? I say Torgbean, I say a school in Lofa County. We don't have that access. And I think that's some of the places the government needs to start, putting money, because you can fly Dr. Paka and I from here to Liberia for less than $5,000. But it costs you free from my end for me to sit there in an hour with Dr. Paka and deliver really critical and powerful professional development to our teachers. And so as we're talking about this digital access, I hope folks start to think about the teachers not having those access, and because they don't have those access, they have very limited access to critical learning and the new way of learning. We're still teaching rote memory when we've moved away from that. How can they know that if we're not providing the professional development to them?
Excellent point. Excellent point. I agree with you. I totally agree. I mean, if they can partner with you guys, you can sit right here and help a lot of teachers. Help a lot of teachers, train them, because the teachers, most of the teachers now are volunteer teachers. Some of them don't even know, where to start and what to do, but they are available. And so when they're available, when they want unavailable is not available, you use the available. So they are available, so they are using them. So they really need that training. Great. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you.
Tell me.
Yeah, and I just wanted to come in. It's okay. Yeah, Sister asked a very good question. Another way we can partner is by being direct, right? One thing I have done personally is to provide mentorship to teachers in Liberia, just out of my own free will, to just give them some tips on learning. But no matter how one person does it, it has to be a collective effort, and this is where I think we can collaborate with Sissy and the group he's talking about, so that we can establish a mentorship program that we move in. We skip the Ministry of Education and go directly in the classroom, right? To be able to empower those instructors, because they need it the most. And also partner with those teacher training institute like LACOSES and other areas that exist in Liberia, right? That we can be able to help to provide information on classroom management, lessons planning, creating a syllabus, being prepared for classroom, while at the same time trying to create opportunity for fundings, right? Because everything will not just be on government. Ourselves need to be able to start funding. Maybe we can provide stipends for some teachers, right? To be able to motivate them to for a teacher to leave from Maserati to go to Foya or to go to Zwedru to go and teach. We have to be able to create an opportunity for them to be motivated, and those are ways in which we can be able to do it.
Right. Excellent.
Thank you, Toby. Well, muted.
I'm trying to shut down work to be able to switch over.
It's all right. You're multitasking. Go ahead.
Yes. But I wanted to talk about WAEC or WAX or whatever the name is. I mean, obviously the resources just being, let me say, west or west. So what does that say about our school systems, our students' preparedness, their learning environment, and everything, and how can we improve that? Start with you. I'm coming Butcher Yadina here for your day. You're texting me and calling me after the show for Butcher Yadina.
Parker, they want to start with you. You go ahead, Dr. Parker.
Go ahead, and then TC will finish up.
Yeah. This all boils down to ensuring that we refine our curriculum, right? That's why we need to ensure that we refine our curriculum to be able to align it with the expectation of YC, right? So that's one thing we need to be very intentional about. And also, we need to ensure that our students are being prepared early. And I think that's one thing government doing positively now. I learned that students are now taking Y at a very early age. So having those foundational aspects from taking Y out of elementary, junior high, then you come to senior high before you are able to complete an exam, it prepares you. It gives you some level of confidence as it relates to what needs to be done. And the next thing we need to ensure is to make sure our teachers, sorry, I'll keep calling professor for higher ed. Make sure our teachers are absolutely ready to teach the students in order to pass the test. Without exclusively teaching them directly to the test, right? So you can be teaching general concept, preparing them for the test, but at the same time, make sure the students have those readiness, either creating mock exam and creating incentives to schools, right? That if this school perform well, this is an incentive. We do it in America, right? Based on performance, your fundings will be increased as well. So those are ways in which we can be able to motivate them. And also ensuring that we don't teach in an abstract way, because the expectation from YC, we may not have the infrastructure in the classroom in Liberia. So if we come to give YC to student based on the curriculum established in Nigeria or Ghana, we have disenfranchised our students, right? We have set them up for failure. So we need to ensure that the resources, the tools are there and present to be able to have a successful rate for our students.
Awesome,
Great.
awesome.
Great.
CC, anything to add?
Yeah, so as somebody who reports on that regularly for my school district, right? Because we have a similar PCA, it's called the Minnesota Comprehensive Exam, so the MCA. And so I have to present on there, look at benchmark for all of my grades in math and science. I said earlier that we have a lot of data in Liberia. We don't use it. The students taking WASC, that's a data point. What do we use it for besides shaming students?
Right.
So you got students that are taking it in 6th grade. Do we take the time to look at what these kids are telling us in 6th grade about their learning gaps before they take it in 12th grade and fail? They take it again in 9th grade. They're yelling at us. We don't understand this thing. We ignore it. We wait until we get to 12th grade. Then they don't pass. Then we shame them. And then they make these ridiculous graduation speeches and they go viral. That bothers my soul. And sorry if I'm yelling, but that bothers my soul.
It's painful.
For me, that hurts me to the core. Because I know we can do better, right? We have to treat this thing like everybody else does. We have to have diagnostics. In my school district, we get diagnostics assessment. Your kids come to me, I give them an assessment in the math classroom before we start the entire year. You're going to tell me where your gaps are based on that assessment. And I now know how prepared you are for the exam. I know where the gaps are. I know how to intervene to close those gaps and support you so that I'm able to have my thumb on the scale before the exam shows up. We can change what the outcome of the WASC is if we're giving diagnostics assessments in 5th grade. It tells me in 5th grade or 4th grade what the student gaps are and how long I got to fill them before they take the first assessment in 6th grade. Now, they take that in 6th grade, we combine that with their 5th grade and see that we close the gap. No, is the gap widening? Yes. In mathematics, what don't they know? Do they not know simple algebra? Do they not know geometric thinking? How can we focus on that in 7th grade and 8th grade and 9th grade to take the WASC again? We see again. Have they closed the gap? No, they haven't. Math teachers were falling behind. We have to pick up the slack. What can we do to intervene so that by the time they take this assessment, diagnostics in 11th grade again, now we know before they take the 12th grade for graduation, right? We have to build checkpoints along the way. But the problem is to build those checkpoints is to hold adults responsible. And adults don't want to be held responsible. We want to hold the students responsible for failing. And so we don't have those checkpoints. And I think for me, that has been the biggest problem in the Liberian educational system. Forget whatever administration. That has been the problem. And one of the things, if you want my radical suggestion, here's my radical suggestion. Stop giving WIAC exam in 12th grade for graduation requirement. If it's going to be graduation requirement, give it to them in 11th grade.
Right.
Students that pass it in 11th grade have access to take classes at the University of Liberia or other places, or do vacation school, or get some job. The students that don't pass it still have 1 year. They stay in school technically. They're still working with teachers. We're still building them to take another one by 12th grade before they leave. But what is the sense of somebody taking a test in 12th grade? They don't graduate. They go and sit home for 7-8 months, and they come and do a resitter. It was raining for my bucket and do it for our inner school. I
love that.
Too many distractors.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are in for a treat. We have Honorable C.C. Goya, the MAP Juniors. We also have Dr. Parker, and we have Honorable Victor Nagbe. These are all educators. Guys and girls, I'm asking you, on Tuesday, we're going to have Dr. Clarence Moneyba here as my guest. I would love for you guys to come back to quiz him because he's running for president. He has to have an education plan. And for me, I won't be able to go into detail about education because I don't know. If you have the time on Tuesday, join me here so we can actually help him out. So you guys can tell us what is it he has that is different. I'm hearing TC is saying we got all the plans in the books. It's the implementation. We just don't implement. So you guys can ask him, you can quiz him as to how he's going to implement this beautiful plan he has. Before we go to the next topic, let me remind you guys, we got a group of young women and men that are making our shows beautiful on the ground. They are in Nimba, they are in Lofa, they are everywhere. Christmas time, we love to give them something to appreciate them. I know you guys are talking about incentives and bonuses and everything else. So please make a donation to our Cash App. We are trying to raise about $1,500 that all our folks on the ground get something for the Christmas. And this is
something for Myean.
Well, now when you send it to Myean, now you're putting us in trouble because they work as a team. So the Cash App here is the $ TCA 2500. If you believe in the Zelle, is 678-438-3003. We love that you do that. For those of you that have contributed, thank you very much. You are going to make somebody put a smile on somebody's face. This is the week of giving, and we love to learn. You see, these people are teachers. They are not only teaching you algebra and geometry, they're teaching you to give back.
Mr. Gayman, can I say something?
Yes. And it better be you got 200 for me.
I don't know whether any one of you guys watched that video. It's been a while back when those students were having a competition I think it was in Nimba County, and the girl spoke that English about, I don't know what is your intention, something she said, which I think she had a good intention to say something, but she just didn't know how to say it. And when I listened to that video, it broke my heart. It broke my heart for the fact that these kids, they have the desire to learn, but the structure is not there. Like we are discussing, the curriculum is not there. Like for public speaking, where you go to, like she was vying for a position, and I think the other person was vying for it, and then she was trying to explain herself what she's gonna do, and then she was asking questions as well. But then when she made that statement, it was all over the place. Now everybody was repeating that thing, So it's just to say the kind of desire our kids have, but the structure is not there, the curriculum is not there, the assistant is not there to push them forward. And then when they go do this public speech, they just make so much error. And in a lot of sense, it belittles them, because I'm pretty sure if she hears somebody teasing or bullying her about the things she said, it makes her feel bad. So I mean, I was just trying to buttress, like we just need to push our government to do something, to really do something for our kids.
Let me go to this here. Let me start with CC on this one. The school principal walked into my office and said, Mr. Gayman, we're looking for additional teachers. You will do well. Come and we'll put you in an executive program. You can learn to teach. And I said, you know what? I'm going to come in and be a substitute teacher for a week. And I walk in that classroom. confident that I'm going to teach. And when I got there, I had no clue what these kids were doing, the noise. It took me almost about 30 minutes to get these kids quiet. By the time they settled down, the bell rang, we left. So I didn't go by the next day. God told me, say, you have to do something called classroom management. It's a course. So talk to me about classroom management. Because some of old guys people within teaching is all just walk in the classroom and put it in the blackboard. And those kids ran me out of that classroom. And there was a great, they were smart kids. It looks like, let me start with Victor here, because Victor, you also in the classroom, but that's a tough thing if you don't have your class under control.
Yeah, so I feel bad for you that they threw you in the midst of the shock. The classroom management is a norming that you begin right off the offset. You begin on day one. You set a tone for your classrooms, your expectations, what is allowed and what is not, and you stick on it. If you got in the middle and you had to begin to implement classroom management, that was a problem. Because even then, as I'm describing it, you got to keep pressing on and pressing on, because yes, the way we were taught back home, it's not how it's structured here. Back home, the teacher is king in the classroom, but not over here. Actually, it's the roles are almost reversed. Yes, you're the authority in the room, you're the adult in the room, but it's not a way you would dictate how things happen in the classroom. They're allowed to challenge you, to ask you questions, because that's how they learn. And so when you tell them to do something, you have to have a justification, and so that's something you and them develop together. Okay, guys, we'll put our cell phones away, or we'll come in, get the books out, Chromebooks, whatever it is, be ready to go, be here on time. Those are things you set up at the beginning, the very first week. Usually when school starts here, the first day or two, those are the things you go over. You set the tune for the classroom management and all of that. But yes, it is really it is a science, and it is also an art. It comes with practice. You're not always gonna get it right, and many times you will not get it right. But when you begin to get it, it is your best go-to, your best companion, your best helper. When you have that norming system, and they will tell each other what is expected in that room. What you can do there, what you can do there. How they will stretch you, they will test you. And then but once you get on it and you set it in motion, it is the best way to keep the classroom running, because observation and all of that. The classroom is supposed to run itself, basically. The students are supposed to run things. That is the most efficient classroom, where they come. They know where to get their paper. They know where to go and get the pencil. They know where to sit. They know whether they can go out to get water. They can go to the bathroom. Those kinds of things, they come at the very beginning of the school year, like I said, and you continue to remind them as the school year goes through.
Well,
so classroom management is very challenging, but when you get a handle on it, it is your best helper.
Because you guys have to get certified every year.
Every time you run to the principal, they take a piece of your authority. You surrender your authority.
Really?
That's true.
So it's not always the best advice to keep sending them to the principal's office.
So you guys have to certify every year on classroom management? No.
You don't get certified on classroom. In a sense, you do.
Like a CEU? Like
because,
CEU? No.
Yes, when you're observed, all of those constitute the sum total of your evaluation, summative evaluation. All of those come into play. How you manage your classroom. You can't sit in the classroom and it's like a jungle. The kids running up and down, jumping over desks like you in Eastside High School or whatever that was called. No, all of that is weighted against you, your ability to manage your classroom, because when there's chaos in the room, it takes away instructional time. That is the main reason why you're there. So if you're wasting 5 minutes just trying to manage the classroom, that's a problem. that's a problem, you know. But again, it is a system you use to norm your classroom, and it starts from the very beginning. It's like you know, you have the child. You can't teach old or new trick. Once you're in the middle of the year and you still haven't got a handle on it, that's a problem. You know. So, but I'll leave it there.
Cece, listen, this is what I keep saying, right? When you see guys driving, or when you go to the skating ring, right? You see these guys just skating. You say, man, this thing is easy. I can just go on there and do it, and you go there, you fall on your behind. They gotta help you up. You walk out of that shame. Classroom management for you that teach math. You know, most people say it's one of the most difficult subjects. So you know they will do all they can to kill the time so you can get out of there. How important is classroom management?
I like, you know, to just add on to what my brother Victor was saying. You have to build community. Classroom management is you're setting norms, you're setting expectations, and you're creating. The way I look at it in my work, in my 13 years in the classroom, is you building your own village, and we are determining what is acceptable in the village square and what is not, as a community. And when you violate one of those rules, how do we deal with folks who violate, and how do we welcome back you in? And so you have students will now start to hold one another accountable, because for me, what I did was I didn't come with my own thing. You know, that should not do this. That should not.
Hold you accountable to you. Right. You too. Right. They will tell you. Whoa. That's not how we behave in here. Whoa. Yeah.
Because you know there are some teachers that think I come into the classroom and say I have my rules. Thou shall not sit on my desk. Thou shall not do this. Thou shall not do that. I tell you what, in 10 minutes, all your thou shall not will be in the transcript, right? So you have to, it's almost like you're practicing democracy, right? I know what I want. I'm going to get them to tell me what I want by the way I structure the question and how we frame the guidelines for the classroom, right? And we have these non-negotiables. Look, I'll tell you this. For the 10 years that I was teaching in an inner city school, a school that had over 80% of my students on free and reduced lunch. That's where people were afraid to go. That's where I did my thing. And I'll tell you this. The principal always knew when it's time for math class, because you see all the kids running, and I'm teaching 11 and 12 graders, by the way. And the principal go, how do you manage these kids to be willing to go to math class? I said, because I don't have to say a whole lot. I just got to look at you. Like, it's just, you know, that eye. This is eye looking, you know. But the problem was they knew also that I love them. Like, because of the way I grew up, I said, to tell the story here about my mom, you know, she had 8 kids, right? So I went to school all the time hungry. I went home with homework that nobody could help me solve, right? And so because of that, I would give my lunch to students that come to school hungry. Like, yo, man, you hungry? I can take my food, eat, but sit in the back there, do my homework. You're sleepy because there was something at home, you know, last night. Take a 10-minute nap. After 10 minutes, I wake them up, do the work. We're building that. And so because they knew I was invested in their well-being and also holding them accountable, the best teachers that have the best classroom management are the ones that will leave their room to a substitute like you, and you go in and you thrive. If you leave your classroom and a sub comes in and there is chaos, you're not a good classroom manager. And so some of the things that, you know, we teach over the years that when I offer PDs is, number one, do you know your students? And knowing your students is not, oh, you know, that kid wears the black jacket or they come from a broken home. No, it's what do they love? How are you leveraging the things they love to build relationship with them? Because I'll tell you this, nobody cares what you know if they don't know that you care about them. The first opportunity to teach somebody is to teach them that you care about them and you know them. The first day you call that kid by his or her name and talk about his or her best team that just played a game, whether they lost or not, you own them. I started watching WWE, wrestling, WWE, because one of my students, that was his thing. He would not do math. I had to watch WWE. We started to talk about the diagonal or in the right angle triangle. John Cena is from one side and he's going straight through the ring to the other side. That's the diagonal. I had to teach him that to teach A squared plus B squared, C squared. That's the only way that kid could listen to me. I had to learn to watch that fake WWE. And I became a fan of WWE because it allows me into building that relationship. So some of the things we do in Liberia, we think you kick the kid out, they go home. Well, you create a problem for you and that child. Because if you kick me out of school and I go home, I'm not learning.
Right.
I'm going to come back with a deficit.
Right.
And if I come back with a deficit and you're moving along, especially in things like math and sciences that are continuous, I come and there's a broken link in the chain. And if I feel like I'm stupid in the classroom, I'm going to misbehave. I'm going to disrupt learning so you can kick me out. And then my friends think I'm the coolest guy because I'm the class clown, but I'm doing that because you keep creating problems for me. As you kick me out, you're making my gap wider and wider, and you're making me feel dumber and dumber. And I think that's one of the things we got to get away from in Liberia. Far too often we send kids home, we kick them out of school for, you just look at the teacher by where said, they get for you, go 1 week, don't come to my class. We create those and then wire come and shows us that the kid hasn't learned anything. But we don't go back to the teachers and hold them accountable. And so classroom management, just to close, it's almost like in your home. How do you manage? How do you and your kids get along? If you don't have boundaries, if you don't have rules in the house that everybody is accountable to, including yourself, then your child comes and goes as he or she pleases. They come at midnight, there's no curfew, they can't do homework, they don't do dishes, they don't do nothing. You as the man, you don't have anything that you're held accountable to. The wife is not held accountable to anything because there's no structure. There's chaos. And so that's what happens in the classroom when there's a lack of classroom management.
Good. Let me go to Dr. Parker. Let's talk about your why. Why you went into education, why you became an educator.
Oh, I will spend the next few hours talking about that. I would say this, I'm from a very humble background, a humble beginning. Both of my parents never had formal education. They did not spend a single day in the classroom. But I see my dad as the wisest and the most educated person I've ever met. I see my mom as a warrior in terms of ensuring that her kids gain education. My education was gained. My mom had to sell kobo. My dad was a taxi driver. But they were very insistent on ensuring that all of their kids went to school. Whenever I came from school, the first thing my mom wanted to make sure is, have you done your homework? Mm-hmm. And there were times in which I thought it was magical that I would do my homework and take it to my mom, and she would say it's wrong. And it would actually be wrong. And that's when I would need Sissy or other people to help me. And later on, as I got older, I got to figure out it was psychology, right? So that's why I said she's the wisest person. So my parents played a fundamental role in my life, and also based on scholarship from the Salvation Army, where I was opportune to be able to go to school, and also was on J.D. Rivers Scholarship Foundation. But where I actually gained a desire to go into the classroom is when I was a refugee in Ghana for about 4 to 5 years. During my stay in Ghana, I had the opportunity to attend computer school, and it was great. I was excited, I got new skills, and I decided to come back to Liberia. When I returned, my immediate goal was to go and work for the World Bank or work for the UN, and that was my extreme focus. But there was this colleague of mine, he's in Texas now. He was insisting, he says, I have a computer school, I need to come and teach. And I said, no, I have all these certificates, education, I want to go and learn something better. He was persistent, and he made sure I went to teach. At the end of the day, I gave in and went into the classroom to teach. Fast forward, I will find myself sitting in my office somewhere, and I received this text from a student. Oh, Professor Parker, I'm a computer analyst at this ministry. I'm this person at this ministry. And that brought so much joy and satisfaction. And one area that I really admired about getting to higher ed was at the end of the Civil War, when we had the DDRR program, in which we had to focus on rehabilitation. I volunteered with the YMCA to establish the YMCA computer school. And we had a lot of ex-soldiers, former child soldiers in the school at the time. The transformation on the faces of those students, the inspiration that I saw, the motivation to change from being somebody who society rejects to become a better person is what I really admire. And even though our teachers don't get paid a lot, but we are the most respected people when it comes to being in a community. When I went back to visit Liberia in 2017, I went to the bank, and there was a long line at the bank, right? I needed to get some figures some money from the bank. As soon as I enter, a student called me from the window and said, "Oh, Professor Parker, your intern come to me serve you," right? But based on my own conservative principle, I could not go in front of other people at the front of the line. So what I'm saying is that my motivation stems from the aspect that people are empowered, and that brings gratification. And I always say to myself, the education that my mom and my dad did not have, if I can create 10 more persons like my mom and my dad, so that they will not live the challenges they experience, I will serve as an ambassador to transform, to inspire, to motivate, to make sure that people have an opportunity. Coming from Liberia to coming to the US and achieving everything I achieved couldn't have happened if that mother without a formal education did not invest what she invested in me. So she served as my inspiration to be able to transform and to be able to inspire others to move forward to achieve.
Wow. Telby?
Always on mute. I want to take, y'all got my 100% attention now, don't work. But I want to take it back home though. You know, thank you, Dr. Parker. That was so touching. Oh God, that's a homely story. Like most mothers, always selling or always giving us something or doing LPA or something. We all got that story. So thank you for just reminding me of that humble journey. So I'm thinking about education in Liberia. Every day the school fee going up. Miss feel like English. The school fee going up, but the quality of the education ain't going up.
Tell me about it.
So because we gotta deal with it, our phone ain't get rest. Oh, the school. In fact, someone wants to send their children to a private school now because the public school have gone from bad to worse. So how can we, given all we know here, I mean, you guys at your area, everything you deal with, everything, how can we improve? You make education affordable, but without sacrificing quality. Give us some tips, some nuggets. CC, start with you because you about to leave us hanging.
Yeah, I got another engagement. Sorry.
Thank you.
I can't run in here.
That's great.
Yeah, and I can only stay too long in the same space with Jerome. So,
you see how you treat me? No respect. I'm the Rodney Dangerfield of this, but no respect.
The border, they're calling me. I gotta go back. So
to the border now.
Look at anyways, but on a serious note, this has been a wonderful conversation, and I really appreciate you extending the invitation to me, Telvi. You know, and it was, I didn't even know my own little brother was going to be on here, Dr. Paka. But look, we have to ask ourselves in Liberia, what are we spending the money for? What are the fees for? Because a lot of these things have fees. Are we increasing the tuition to increase teacher salary or increase the outlook of the facility or buy new curriculum materials? If it is for that, then yes, let's keep increasing the fees for that. But if it is just for us to be profitable, then that's just obnoxious, right? We can't do that. That for me bothers me a lot more because I come from a very poor background, and I know what it means to kind of look for tuition around. I still owe Dr. Paka man some Kobo money. We can't pay. So I gotta go $2 to get his sister. To be frank, I still owe them. I met her the last time.
What $2 charity? Oh, his son.
Actually cried because when we were in high school in 12th grade, I used to walk from 20th Street to go to RC Lawson to go to school and walk back. And when you come home, you don't have food. I don't my Kobo, you go inside and you eat small. He says, he said, come in, President, you put my money, you pay me next week. I said, I'll pay next week. But if the tuition went up at RC Lawson, I knew I couldn't afford it. I couldn't. And I had to go be looking somewhere, washing, the business of them clothes around here when they're men and kind of get all smart into our tuition. So I know what that means. And so I think the government has to take some stance, whether it's government or private, there has to be a salary, there has to be caps, right? And if you're going to increase tuition, let it be because you're trying to increase educational outcomes. Dr. Paka spoke about this when he talked about measurable outcomes. We have failed to do that in Liberia. Tell me why, what is my return on investment for you charging extra $200 this school year? What's the return on investment? What are you putting that into? What am I getting out of it? Right? And one of the saddest things, before, and I'll close on this, one of the saddest things that happened in Liberia is we have normalized failure. We are okay with failure. Yep. We have schools that we call college graduate. We know they're failing. We allow them to remain open. We are sending children to those college graduate, and we keep them open. And so we are saying as a people, government and everybody as a people, that we are working with some people that have been failures in life because we put them there. We are okay with creating generational poverty because education usually is the way out of poverty. And if I'm sending people to schools that I know in my mind, and I say it's a college graduate, and children are going there, that means morally, that is just reprehensible. And so I think this is time that it's not just the government, it's us. We all have to start speaking about that when we have these schools that are subpar and charging way too much money, and there's no return on investment. My own man woke up with a little green, and yet I still got the same teacher that was Sisi Goya back in the day, just graduated from high school, because he can talk plenty and no small math, we're going to teach Nagbe math. That is not right at all.
Thank you. Sisi, I know you got to go. Your pattern comment, then we'll go to Dr. Parker, then he does his.
Well, that was one question, but let me get, since Sisi leaving us, I want to put, that were 2 questions I had. So I will let him answer the one. Then Dr. Parker will answer his part of about 2 questions. But the last one, though, we can't talk all this and not talk about PTA, a Parent Teacher Association. No, seriously. So when we were growing up in Liberia, it was a big deal. When I was on a mission, when it was time for that, my auntie had to show up, my mom had to show up for that. Even in the U.S., in our communities, our parents don't want to go to PTA. Even in America, I used to take, when it was time for PTA, I had to go for my children PTA. How can we improve that in our communities here and in Liberia? When it's PTA, I don't want to go. I send CC, but at home, I watch Facebook. I send CC to represent my children and his household. Tell me what they say or what, yeah. When you can't tell me what it is, I send it to sofa and I watching Facebook or I watching Nigerian show. And I don't want to go listen to the teacher to get some feedback to improve my student. Obviously, I can tell I'm very passionate about that one. That one, seriously, it really irks me because I think we need to do more investing in our children, and we don't do that very well. So, Cece, tell us your part and your parting comment, and Dr. Parker will close on those 2 questions.
So on the issue of parent conferences in America, we can do a 10-part series on that. I have serious problem with the way our people just dash the kids on us in schools, and when you call them for conferences, they don't come. Parent Teachers Associations, which are where a lot of these decisions are made, fundraisers and other stuff, the PTA, the 2011 Education Reform Act in Liberia establishes a PTA for almost all of our schools. They call them local school districts in Liberia. We have school districts in Liberia. Again, we are not lacking for laws and process. We just don't implement them. Yep. I think communication with home is a problem. And because we don't do it in Liberia, when our people come to America, we don't do it. How are you checking to find out what is your child learning? What are they not learning? How can you support them? But a lot of the schools don't have parent-teachers conferences. We'll have parent-teachers conferences in Liberia, almost like country code. We all come with EPAC. Teachers are not sitting to explain to caregivers on, here is where your student is struggling. Here are some of the gaps we're seeing. Here's how you can help. And besides, let's be fair. With Dr. Paka Oma knowing that Kobo time, that the time we come and play football, the time we're supposed to eat a Kobo, we see leave all the men and we still not Kobo. We see lead the men in there and go to conferences. That is a difficulty. But I think some of the things we're doing in America can also be replicated in Liberia. We realize that some parents here can't go to conferences because they have to work because of so many other things. We made it also remote. You can call a parent on the phone and talk with them about their child. They don't have to come to you, right? And I think when we talk about this digital access, most people always go to computers, but some of these phone calls home. And real quick, I would say something. Real quick, I would say something is that there was a program during COVID. I remember this because we tried to also replicate it in Liberia. I used to call in Lofa County on radio stations to teach math on a radio station.
Oh, wow.
And that came out of a program that happened for refugees, for Syrian refugees kids. There was this nonprofit that turned WhatsApp into a learning platform where teachers will push out learnings on a WhatsApp platform. They will push out educational materials and quizzes and stuff on the WhatsApp. And a lot of our kids and parents have cell phones in Liberia. with internet access. All they're using it for is to go on Facebook and cause people mad. You can use that to also push out as a teacher to the parents. Have a WhatsApp group. Here is where your kid is. Send it through WhatsApp. Yes, your kid's great. They're missing homework. I say homework today, right? And as a school, if you're going to increase the tuition, increase the fees so that you're able to buy cards for those teachers to be able to communicate with home. Now, if you increase the fees because of that, I'm willing to pay the fees because I know you're giving the calling card to the teachers to connect with me so that I know what's happening with my kids. You know, so like I said, but for America, how we have parents that come here and they're doing the double, and sometimes it's not because they want to upkeep the home here, it's because they want to build a mansion in Liberia that they're not going to go live in, but just to boast about it, and they abandon their children in the home and they don't go to conferences, they don't even go to athletic matches. They play sports. Their parents never seen them play before.
Yep.
Never. So, like I said, that's a whole 20-part series that they were ready for that one.
The next part.
But it's been an honor being here. My own little brother, you know how when the student become a teacher, Dr. Paka, you know me, I have a lot of respect for you. I know where you come from. Hats off to you, my sister Sarah and Jerome. Man, don't give me a hard time today, but I want to hear nothing from you.
Listen, come back on Tuesday when Dr. Molma is here.
You must not talking about it has been good being on. I appreciate all of you.
Thank you. Have a pleasant weekend.
Thank you very much for what you do for our children and for this country.
Thank you so much,
you are an excellent ambassador for Liberia. As far as we are concerned, our community is proud of you. You represent us very well. And keep on the good work. Thank you very much. Say hi to the family for us. Dr. Parker is
taking us home.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, we all agree that parents played a fundamental role when it comes to the lives of the kids, right? And that include obtaining education. Whether it's in the US or back in Liberia, the parents are the key ambassador to help in the transformation and to assist teachers, right? I haven't taught in K-12 education, but I have a lot of experience being a dad and how I interact with my children, teachers. Since I elaborated on a lot, we have to be present. That is very important because our kids look up to us as role models. They look up to us as the primary advisors to be able to transform them. If a kid is not performing in school, the first person they're going to call is the parent. If the parent is disconnected from the child's learning, that creates an issue, right? So as parents, we need to be very intentional. And one thing my kids teacher and myself usually laugh at when my kids go to school, I always ask them, do you have homework? And most often they will say, oh, we did our work at school. And I will say, no. When I was learning, I always have homework to do. Right. And I would challenge the teachers. If they do not have homework material, I'll tell me what to buy. And they will come home to be able to do what they can to improve their performance in the classroom. And also when the parents are involved, it also motivates the teacher, right? Teachers are motivated when they see the parents are present. So that serves as a key motivation as well to be able to bring transformation in the life of the kids. It is us that truly understand the challenges of our children. Without us communicating with the teachers, our kids will be lost. So the importance of the parents in the kid's life is to serve as motivation to contribute to the transformation. But there are few challenges when it comes to a lot of us immigrants, and we have to accept it. There are a lot of parents who come from Liberia that don't have solid education. So working along in the educational system to help their kids can sometimes be intimidating, right? And this is where, as a community, and I'll challenge us as a community, what is us in Minnesota based on OLM, that can be able to provide after-school assistance to these parents, right, who may need some help with their children. Since all of ourselves can be able to contribute, so as to empower because if a child still from Liberia, is our responsibility, right? So we all should be involved in contributing and providing the minimum resources we can to help any child or any kid to develop.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you very much, Doc. Listen, if you can come back here on Tuesday when Dr. Monduba is here, to help us out, actually delve into education, what his education plans are, how he intends to fund them. These are questions that only educator can ask because you're in the classroom, you're in the administration on a higher level. So let us make sure that we make a date on Tuesday about 5 o'clock Eastern time, 4 o'clock Central time, so we can interact with Dr. Clarence Maniba. He has some great ideas, and he needs to be supported. He needs to hear from us, from your experiences. What would you like to see in his education platform? And any other politician that come on here, we will let you guys to come on to make sure that you flush out these things. Let them hear from you what they say. It's not only politicians coming here and questioning about what is the GPA or GPG and all that other stuff. The people want to know what their children are learning. You come out here with all the terminology that the people down there can't understand. I know when I was in school, they said that the best form of education and communication is that the person with whom you are communicating understands you.
Understands,
Yes,
right?
that's
Right.
important.
If you're not doing that, you're not getting your message across. Like my father and my mother couldn't speak a word of English. So in the interior in Bassa, we are listening to the Bassa radio. Their program comes out at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock to 7. And then in the middle of that, you will hear the Liberian national anthem. They preempt that. And then President Tomalin will come on and speak. He speaks all when he finishes that. Oh my God, what is stupid man talking all day? all his program he laid out. Therefore, had no reason. They don't want to know anything. Why he interrupted our Bassa station talking thing, and because you are not getting your communication across. You think they will say, let us have some people to interpret the speeches in different dialects and this and no. So this is what I'm talking about for Dr. Moniba and the politicians when they come on here. It would be great that educators are here to talk and not just politicians and critics to come here and flush out the details. So we want to thank you for taking your time to come out here. 2 hours, we were 2 hour plus. We thank you, Telvi. Thank you very much, and your guests.
Thank you, Telvi. Thank you.
Thank you to our doctors, our educators, like I like to refer to them.
Yes.
Thank you. We asked them for 2. They gave us 3 hours, 11 minutes. So thank you. I know you would have been resting the brain, the hard subjects that you guys learned. You would have been resting your head, but enjoy the rest of your weekend and do something fun.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thanks, everyone.
Right.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Tell me, I think we had a great time with these guys. Sometimes when I sit here, I feel so bad that Liberia has such brains all over the world, and we're not utilizing them. Because they don't belong to our
politics, everything.
Or they're not our tribe, or they don't belong to our fraternity or sorority. And you got look at Cece Goya. Okay.
Look at Timber. I mean, we have such a rich and a deep wealth of knowledge. Our pool is so rich, and we don't utilize it. We just don't.
Did you hear me, Mr. Gayman?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I know. I said I had uncle in power. They can make use of him.
Well, this is what we are talking about.
They're talking about tribe or whatever.
Yeah. Sometimes it is like you say. When you get even, like we say, when you put all Bassa people together, they will find a way to discriminate against you.
Exactly. Some kind of way, somehow.
Yeah, like they will say, are you from the interior Bassa or you from the seaside Bassa? You go to Kepama, they say you Bush Gribble or you seaside. I mean, they will find a way to.
They may always talking about the border Afoya, so I think.
Right. So that's what it is. But we have to find a way that the people will be very objective.
Yeah.
We need this person, and Talbot is the person, even though I have problems, but God's willing, she knows she's the one that will deliver the best. It's all about deliverables and outcome.
Yeah.
Look, I know that people, I got some Jewish friends, and I hang around them all the time. the guys will say, we all get together here. We don't like each other. So, but we have a goal. He doesn't have to visit my house. I don't have to visit the house, but we got a job to do.
Right.
Their law firm have to win cases. And then we win the cases, we all get wealthy. Take
the money.
Take it to your house. We don't care. But once we are here, everything about this stays out the door.
Right. They win together.
You're going to make this work. Because when you succeed, I succeed. Whatever you do with your money is yours.
Yes.
Don't make this thing work. But over there, I can't work with it. I don't let Sarah. I can't work with Sarah. Even though Sarah brings so much to the table.
So much.
Yeah.
So
it's sad. It's really sad.
We have to find, and here we got to do it in here. In these diaspora, I keep talking about. Look at Ted Turvey asked the question I should keep asking. Do you guys have a directory of professional educators that if I pick up the phone and I wanted to just look for curriculum developer, I want to look for principals, assistant principals. Do we have a directory? All the education they have, they don't even have that.
But Mr. Gayman, as they were saying, I'm glad we're showcasing our professionals, experts. But I started to think, I was like, using technology, if and they had a registry or whatever we want to call it. Do you see how much impact it would have been making in Liberia if they have the right technology and tools? These guys will be right here teaching and helping in Liberia, helping those school systems.
That's free. It's very
giving them quality education, helping them rewrite the curriculum, tutoring. I mean, name it all. Liberians are in all aspects of I would say leadership or discipline. Just name it all. Just since we started doing this thing, I've engaged so many of them professionally, whether through LinkedIn or Facebook. I mean, everywhere. CISO, everywhere. Directors, blah, blah. Where? Everywhere. Any position, any place, there's a Liberia that can fit that role. Almost 99%.
Yeah, our people need to get over this phobia. There's a phobia in our Liberian community, especially those back home. Some of them, not all of them, but they got this phobia that, people from here want to take their jobs. People from here want to act like they know better than them and stuff like that. So when they see some of them, when they see this kind of thing, they're not open to it. Oh, there's one he want to act. We see that all the time. Even people that leave from here to go to Liberia to go, run for position, they behave to them the same.
I think it comes from a place of fear, Sarah. Most times, I think it's from a place of fear.
Yeah,
because
so they need to get over.
It's a place of fear. Because you gotta understand.
It's for us to help our people. It's for us to have a country wherein our young people are coming up prepared to be the next future leader. It's not about taking your jobs. I mean, like the team sister was saying, for them to have a registry or for them to sit here and partner with them and even help do curriculum, teach people. They can do all that. You don't have to be on the ground.
Yes.
So it's not about taking their jobs.
Yes.
Well, we too have to learn that when we leave from here, we shouldn't go to Liberia with this superiority complex.
Do you know who I am? I am Dr.
If you don't call me doctor,
no, I mean, you better call me. You're right.
We have to, but I will work with CC on this because there should be a system where a school in Liberia is looking to hire a principal. And if you could just come to the Education Foundation and press principal, 10 or 20 elementary school, middle school, high school, we don't have to just hire anybody but we want somebody in that category. If we're looking for math experts, we should just press math and we should get all the math people and then we can choose. That's what I think CC and I will work on that. Same thing with our mental health.
Mental health people, right?
With Dr.
Dr. Massacre. Yeah.
You're going to have it for you mean Liberia, right?
Yes, that's the end goal. But first of all, we gotta group them in one place.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
to know, the 8 different specialties, how to contact them and all of that.
That can really help. I mean, that you feel good going with your own person, sometimes. That would be really great.
The UN have reached out to me several times. We are looking for this person to go. to Liberia. This person need to go to Liberia, 7 million. Do you know? If we have resources, like I would just direct them to that resource and say, these are all the folks that are available, and these are the going prices. This is what they're going to take. And then you go negotiate with them directly. But we don't have that directory. We're looking for educators. We're looking for math. We're looking for this. We're looking for civil security, cyber security folks. Where are they? Where can we find them? Who can we contact? Nothing. So we are very disorganized. We are in silos, right? Educators are all over the place. Everybody doing their own thing.
Right.
So we're not pulling our resources. Okay, we're not pulling our resources. Tell me this is awesome, but let me remind our folks, guys. Our goal is 2,500. We have raised 525 already. Today is Friday. If you're getting paid, you gotta pay up.
Friday night.
That's right.
Just coffee.
There you go. Friday night. Friday hunting. We're
going to the pop. Don't take me back to my pop days.
That's right. So, guys, please help us out. Let us do this. But Sarah and Terry, make sure you be here on Tuesday. Dr. Moneyma is going to be here.
I would really love for the educators to be here to quiz him.
Yes. But he's running for president, so we will want the cybersecurity for the auditors. We want nurses to be here to do all that. Hey, you want to be president for Liberia, you got to deal with all of these issues. You got to do with health, you got to do with education, you got to do with security, you got to do with women.
But it's like people do the same thing here. When these people come to that stuff, all the experts, they come to question it. So we need to start treating these people the same way. We need to start treating them the same way.
We will flush you out. You can't come out here and hide behind title. And then when they ask you, what does it mean? What government mean? Is it by the people?
That cheese, though.
And for the people and by the people.
No, you may have big.
I feel resting that tears. You trying to read. You left.
Yeah, but you come with a big title that you all that.
Don't let Abu run in the comment section.
Yeah, then when they peel the skin over, they find out that the urban thing here, what is it? That you want to work for government? Do you know what government is? By the people and for the people. Oh.
But we gotta laugh about some of these things
because you know what? When they push you to the wall, then you gotta go give 2 apologies.
Yeah,
but you know, on the serious note, Mr. Keba, and look, I can't even come my words, Sarah. But on a serious note, it caught into question now. We will say we educated from here and we go to Liberia and people say, people like, move for you, man. What kind of double master you
better make sure you know your stuff.
I will be on a microscope now.
Yeah, they not come by again with that BB. They know nothing. So you are a nurse. You do all of these things when the people call you and say, look, I took some people home that were 2010. And we got to Liberia, and one of the guys had a stroke on the trip.
Wow.
Thank God President Salif personally called us and said, Jerome, can you imagine these folks came to help me? And he died here on us?
Oh, my God.
They took that man to Catholic Hospital. We had a nurse with us. She followed him to Catholic Hospital. She was the director of nursing here. She went over there and she began to do her stuff. And the PA came and told her, said, ma'am, you are practicing Western nursing here. That's not how we do it. Relax. And when those guys got through with this guy, the man came back, he says, he got paralysis in the face. He had a stroke. This is what I'm going to do. He turned around, he came, he says, this is the injection I'm going to give him. This is wherever blood clot he has in his system, it will break it up. And trust me, in 48 hours, he will improve. He says, we don't have all of the x-ray machines and MRI and all. That was 2010, things were rough. There were no AC in that place. They had a fan. They got 2 nurses would come. The nurses aid, they were fanning that man all night.
I was going to ask whether you were there when I kind of tie your bow tie. What you wearing there? So if you
I carried somebody passing up and died. That bow tie you talking about it?
the way you lay your bow tie business. I thought you were sitting there in that heat.
72 hours that man came out of that.
Wow.
They flew him to Germany because he was a military man. The man got here. He said, Jerome, said, those people saved my life. He said, those 2 girls, the nurse's assistant, said, I will put them through nursing school free of charge.
Amen.
Senator Martin Patton paid it. They went and graduated and went to Cottington and got a graduate degree in nursing.
Wow.
This is what we are talking about. So our people are good. They just need They need the support. The resources. Can you imagine these people had no MRI? They had nothing. They just look at the man and say, we're going to make sure he gets out of this. The 3rd day, this bouquet of flower came from Madam Salib. They delivered it with a beautiful car.
And you know, an emergency can happen at any time.
Yes.
That body we have,
Right.
anything can happen at any time.
Right.
That's something you're not even expecting.
When they were taking the man to Germany, they said, anything you want to say, he says, if I would take my 2 last steps, I have to meet the president.
Yeah.
We took him to the foreign ministry where the president was. We went upstairs to her office and she just hugged him. It was the best thing that ever happened to that man.
Wow.
When we came, when he pulled through, his first lecture at the university, it was on the hospitality of the Liberian people.
Great story.
Yes.
Great story.
So I'm saying this, our people need our support.
Right.
They are good at what they do. And I like when the guy said, Madam, we understand your title and your position, but your Western nursing is not what we do. We don't have all the technology you have, but we do everything manually. Watch. When we came, that lady testified, she says, those people are amazing. They do a lot with nothing. Pull that out.
My Oma was giving me a story about her daughter, her son had a baby here. And the baby was, have trach problem, and when the girl gave birth. So lucky enough for her that time, her mother just came from Liberia. But when the Oma was coming, she brought in with all her koto, her pepper, all that small, they had to cook pepper, all that stuff for her. So she said this day they went to the hospital. Then there was this Indian nurse sitting there and telling the other nurses, watch, that baby gonna be okay. She's not gonna have that surgery. She was telling the other nurses. So the other nurses told them what? When they left from that hospital, they went home. The Oma said that her mom peppered that baby. After she finished peppering the baby, all the nyama came osa.
All the mucus.
Yes. Then she started feeding her, taking care of her. When they went back, they canceled the surgery. And then the Indian nurse came back to them and said, I told you that baby was not going to have that surgery. So our people know what to do.
That's the old-fashioned way.
Yes.
Yep. That's how it works.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't want to forget, Mr. Gayman, before we draw down the curtains, next Friday, we're bringing in our engineers.
Yes.
To talk about the roads, the procurement of the roads, the contract, the quality of the roads, the blah, blah, everything, all the road bridges. Some really strong experts who live in this every day doing it.
I know.
So excited about that.
Who's going to be the guest,
Yes, I do know. But let's not take the cat on the bed.
It's a teaser. It's a teaser. If you are Liberian,
if you have a recommendation, they send it to tell Mr. Gayman. You got my number. Send it to me. We can reach out and see if that person want to be on. If you have a recommendation. But yes, we have a lineup already.
Okay.
Please, if you are Liberian, you are a civil engineer, electrical engineer, whatever engineer you are, architecture, wherever it is, send it to us, and we'll love to profile you. Our country is endowed. We are blessed.
I think we need to have association, all of these things. So the kind of technocrats we're talking about, when we have these people involved in our country, then we know we're going somewhere.
Yes.
You know.
Right.
Yeah, we're going somewhere.
We're going to do that, Sarah. I want to thank you very much for coming. This is Friday. You got to.
Yeah, I will prepare my paper because I have a session tomorrow.
I wish I was over there.
Preparing my little small to point my suit. But when I heard you guys talking, I said, let me come up because this is really dear to my heart. Yes. Education for our kids. I don't know, Mr. Gayman, what are you heard that little girl when she was having that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There are about 5 different ones when they're giving their graduation speech.
I am telling you.
You can just pull up anyone and then see that
it really is important. It really is important.
Look, the place is infested. My niece said she wanted to drive. So I told her, I said, you know what? Nobody going to teach you how to drive. Go to Monroe, find a driving school. They found a driving school. I think they charged me $280. I paid. I think she spent 8 weeks there. Finally, to go get her license. I got a letter from the school talking about they need an extra $125 for graduation ceremony for driving school.
Yeah, so my brother, let people get just in a poor price on you. Especially when they say in America, Opa, forget it.
I said, but this is worse than the high school. Driving school to get her license, and they say if you don't want to attend the graduation, it's $85 just to pick up your license.
Are you serious?
After I have paid the everything, and you're gonna tell me the graduation fee?
Yep.
That's terrible.
No regulation.
There is no regulation. They do anything they want to do. The girl have graduated. She won her license. Now they say she can't get her license until she pay graduation fee.
That is crazy.
They make all the money for nothing. You end up checking her. What did they even teach her?
My other nephew said, you know what? I'm going to learn on my own. Give me the money. You
right.
see why the people how many folks get almost $400 in Liberia to give someone for driving?
But you know, your nephew was right, Mr. Gayman, because now they have all these sandboxes or simulation that you can learn how to drive or do anything virtually. Anything. So you are right, you know.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. Let's do this on Monday. Tuesday, Dr. Moneyma is going to be here. And guys, please chip in. Keep chipping in. Send your money. You just got paid today, so no excuse. Tomorrow, send our money. Thank you very much, guys.
All right, have a good one.
God bless.